Howdy, folks. Welcome to the North American side of the PlayStation Tournament's Open Series monthly finals. We just saw Desarded take the second victory in a row in Europe, but like I said, it's time for North America. We're going to see if the Mighty Unjust can pull off the three-peat or if it'll be someone else. I'm Wonder Chef, joining as usual, Ketchup on the mic for the action. And it's been a good day so far, but I don't know if we can really equal up to how last month played out, right? It was a pretty weird ending, but a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, it was two brothers that know the ins and outs of each other's game plan, but more importantly, they play everyone in the game and agreed to every single game would result in a random select, win or lose. And because they mutually agreed to it, it was totally acceptable to do so. And obviously, getting different characters was... It depended on who played what character. I think El Kakoi definitely got a little bit of a bad end of that deal a couple of times, if I remember. But just a really unusual way for a tournament to end. But above all else, two brothers having fun. And that really was all there was to it.
Yeah, and it did allow Mighty Unjust to win two in a row, right? Month previous, he did win a little bit more of a serious ending, but also, you know, it's not like necessarily this was like more of like a fun tournament. It just happened to be that both brothers fought out extremely hard to make it to the grand finals in the previous month, and then they decided to kind of just mess with each other, have some fun, and then we got to see stuff like this, where Mighty Unjust literally got one of his most played characters with Liu Kang, so...
And El Kakoi's Kung Lao did not look particularly practiced, so I think that this was really what we were talking about, where El Kakoi got the short end of the stick, I think.
Yeah, it definitely was the case. It happens, but I do hope they get to get the run back of that. I hope that if we see them in the grand finals, they'll go for that again. If not this month, then in next month or some other time. But as you can see, the previous 2 months have been won by the Mighty Unjust, and actually Tweety winning the 3 months before that. So far this year, we've only had 2 victors, and altogether over the past year and I guess technically full year of the Open Series, only I think 5 people actually winning. But the real interesting story of today is the bracket, because we've got a whole lot of representation from one region. Isn't that right?
Mexico, 100%. Taking up half of the bracket, in fact. To run you through the matches, we have the return of Biohazard, always excited to see what he's going to play today, versus Chapasso, a regular attendee representing the Mexican scene. Breaking versus Osvaldo Diaz 99. That's going to be Mexico versus Mexico. El Kakoi and Ice Scorpion, and that's going to be 2 of the most prominent Open Series players in North America that we have. Ice Scorpion definitely being one of the greater players in Mexico for sure. And then a grand finals happening at the very beginning of the bracket. Tweedy and Mighty Unjust. So the 2 monthly champions that we see are going to be going head-to-head in the first round. So I think we have a nice mixture of storylines here. But above all else, how is Mexico going to fare?
That is a great question, but they're definitely going to be trying pretty hard because there's a lot of money on the line, this being the monthly finals. Of course, $400 for first place, $300 for second, $200 for third, and $100 for fourth. So you really want to battle your way up into that top 4 spot so you can make some of that nice money. And plenty of these players have made a lot of it before. Like you said, most of these players are regulars, I would say, very consistent top placers. Only, I think, one player, I think it was Osvaldo, is the only player that I think we haven't seen in the Open Series before. All of the others we're pretty familiar with, but just we haven't seen them necessarily play since maybe Pro Competition Finals or maybe even a little bit before that. So we'll see how everybody's playing today and if we're going to see any weird character picks, because North America does tend to bring that out every once in a while.
So for those at home that want to get involved in the competitive world of not only Mortal Kombat 11, but fighting games in general, at this point, you can go to compete.playstation.com. Everything that is a part of the PlayStation tournaments, whether it's Open Series, we have the kind of irregular FGC Arcade, which we had, again, another installment of mere days ago, which was a really good time. We had Grand Blue Versus, we had Tekken, Mortal Kombat 11, and then Guilty Gear Strive to finish those EU and NA days. the upcoming EVO Online. All of it can be found at compete.playstation.com. Simple as that. But our first matchup, we get to see Biohazard, and always curious over who he's going to bring to the table, because he plays loads of characters, but he doesn't kind of stick to the popular characters at the time. He ignores community opinion. He ignores the tier list. If he wants to play a character, he'll pick him. That's just the way it is. And I actually haven't seen Biohazard play in tournament in some time. Is it going to be a Kano or a Baraka, the mains, I guess, or is it going to be someone totally different?
Yeah, it's a great question. Honestly, almost that's not even like the full question, right? The full question is, will it be the variations we're used to with Kano and Baraka, or will it be something new? Because, I mean, one thing that I actually really admire about Biohazard as a player in the Open Series is that even when you get to these kind of higher reward, days, like these monthly finals, you still see Bio using these as a testing ground, right? This is such a great opportunity to try out new variations, new characters, and Biohazard's one of the few players who really will go all the way. I mean, it's why we've seen so many different characters from Biohazard, even ones that he hasn't been as comfortable with, maybe, because then he's learned, okay, maybe this doesn't work here, maybe I should go back to the Kano, maybe I should try something else. So it tends to be a little bit of a surprise for him. And then the other side, Chipasso, a player that we've seen before, bringing out the first Kung Lao of the day. I think we're going to have multiple Kung Laos, potentially, or maybe I'm actually wrong, maybe it's just Liu Kang's, but the first Shaolin of the day, I should say. And being the first representative of Mexico out of 4, half the bracket, like you said, representing the region, which is cool. You know, it's one of the nice things about Open Series is that it does allow kind of the marrying of those two regions, and we get to see how these players are going to face up against each other. So it's always really cool to see.
I like seeing different scenes have different kind of favored characters. Kung Lao is a character that has kind of dropped out of favor for a lot of players, but then when you look at the Mexican community and what we see in Open Series all the time, Kung Lao is still a very popular character, and you quite rightly pointed out the Shaolin in general, a fair few Liu Kangs as well, mostly from Breaking, mostly known for playing Liu Kang and Sub-Zero, but again, I gotta admit, haven't seen Breaking in the Open Series in some time, so we'll have a look again to see if anyone has any new picks, maybe some tricks up their sleeve. And on that note, Chipasso is going to be Kung Lao. Right, okay, yeah. So Baraka versus the Kung Lao. We know we're going to get Kung Lao from Chipasso. What variation? I believe that was the Buzzsaw I could see, but we'll double check. I'm really bad at looking at icons for some of these characters.
Yeah.
Buzzsaw and Possessed Hat. Here we go.
Okay, a little bit classic. And then on the other side, we've got the full mix-up variation that I think we saw this for the first time from Biohazard last month, where it's got the leg kebab for the overhead low mix-ups, and then it's got the command grab for strike throw mix-ups. So just mix in a mix in a mix. Very low damage, but it doesn't matter if you hit him that many times.
It just turns him into another one of those grappler archetypes. Baraka is not a grappler, but when you look at what a grappler wants to do, this variation that Biohazard has put together kind of brings him as close to it as he possibly can, you know, where it's all about just forcing you to play that game, you know, looking for that one touch, being able to win the round on that kind of one sequence. Baraka, not as extreme as others, but remember, he's going up against Kung Lao and Buzzsaw Kung Lao, very oppressive character.
Immediately, we've seen Baraka swing the wrong direction, just completely whip backwards, but he's got the corner, so that is exactly where you want to be with this character, right? Just that you can enforce those mix-ups over and over, and the damage can be pretty significant. It's just you got to use a lot of crushing blows, which is similar to a lot of characters. It's just, however, a lot of people are really used to Baraka being able to get a little bit more damage than this, but no spine burst and no, I guess, gutted mean that you're not getting real launches even in the corner.
Now, we're going to get some information from this first round, okay? So in this situation, Buzzsaw, it is very much a kind of one-player games move sometimes, and it entirely comes down to how the Kung Lao is applying it. That was a lovely flawless block, and we'll take the round because of it. But we're looking at how does Chipasso favor using Buzzsaw in pressure. We saw Biohazard try to trip it up with a sweep, didn't quite manage to land it, but again, we're figuring out how each other answers back on a very game-changing move.
I gotta say, this is incredible that we've seen the overhead at the end of that string blocked like every single time. That's like 8 times now. That's the spot where you get crushing blowed if the low happens. And there we go, just blocked low at the end of that string. Another overhead low mix-up timing. Technically, it's fuzzyable, but it's only about 2 frames. Extremely hard to do, especially in the heat of the moment. It's something you would have had to have labbed for like hours to get down consistently, like just many, many hours. And there's not even enough like Baraka players to fully lab that, probably. So just great defense.
Oh, that's it. That's actually going to be the game, too. We're used to seeing Kung Lao's fatal blows scale like absolute insanity, but at the same time, using it that early on a string is definitely going to do it. So let's look at the variation. Biohazard didn't actually get a chance to use anything. He did like a couple of leg kebabs, and that was it, when he had the opportunity to. But that was pretty much just forward 2 on its own. Like, the variation that he picked, it didn't exist in that matchup. And Biohazard sometimes has been known to look at that situation and go, right, okay, I'm going to change to this or change to that. But this could also be, all right, well, that's just game 1. It is what it is. Let's go in again and try and use a little bit more of our utility. Because his use of Baraka's forward 2 is unlike any other Baraka player we've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing string, right? 8 frames, super far high, it leads to mix-ups on block, but he just went over and over for the same option. And I get it, you know, eventually you're going to be like, yeah, they're not going to do the same thing over and over. And also it's plus on block, so it enforces the chance to go for another mix-up. But in the end, it just wasn't able to open up enough damage, which is one of the issues of the variation. You need to open them up a lot. And then, in the end, it was like, okay, Chipasso knows how to deal with this, technically on a read, got the flawless block, got the full punish from it, and it just led to a not so great game. But we're going to be sticking with the same variation. Just see if Biohazard decides to mix it up a little bit more this time. You know, that might have been like a conditioning game. It's possible.
Yeah, you can only get so much information from game 1 here, can't you? Especially with the kind of moves that they take here, especially that buzzsaw, which you still don't see as much with some Kung Lao players as you would expect. Like, there's definitely Kung Lao players out there that they were crafted in the field of Lotus Fist, and it's very hard for them to play any different, right? But
right.
Bio challenging that with the forward 2. Ah, now we're starting to mix. We start already, 15%. All right, okay. But again, it's the forward 2. Like, his use of that button is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, that's the nice thing about this variation in particular. It is a 3-way mix-up off of forward 2. So I was talking about how you can fuzzy the low and the overhead just barely, but there's also command grab there. So realistically, you're going to be guessing a lot. It is a 3-way guess off every single time you land that exact 8-frame forward advancing move. And of course, the first one's a high, but the second one comes out pretty quickly, and it still has a ton of range. So you can basically use it as like a footsies-ish normal.
Baraka's advancing overhead says, get back down here, mate. I love the use of forward 2 actually in this matchup. When he gets hit or blocks, he often does use that forward 2, the instant startup, to challenge it. Now the dive kick breakaway, no meter for Chipasso though, so we can't really turn it into anything. The flawless block, but it's not enough. Lovely whiff punish, but again, too far away on the leg kebab. That's unfortunate.
Oh my god, so many forward 2s. It's like Bio only has 1 button. Oh, what a whiff punish. That was so perfectly spaced and enough combo to kill. Ooh, that is looking good. Chipasso playing extremely well, I gotta say. You know, the defense has just been like incredible. There have been like 2 or 3 mix-ups that have hit. And overall, with how many times you have to guess, like that is just an unbelievable amount. And then, crushing blow? Nope, those backwards.
Plus frames to play with. Mix up, mix up. This time it's the overhead. Wake up jump though from Chipasso. The amount of wake up options you can do, and it's a big part of MK11 in that case, just holding up. You have so much meter, it's hard to make a correct prediction. But Bio, forward 2-1 into command grab. That's going to start things. Oh, we have been swinging with down 2s. The last round with Bio and now this round with Chipasso. We're looking for that crushing blow, I tell you what.
Oh, tried to sweep through it. All right, finally goes for the grab. And Chipasso has the fatal blow. We've seen him convert into it extremely well just to end the very first game. Dive kick into the blade spark. That's pretty funny looking. He's like, oh wait, I wanted to get hit by that.
Every time Bio is throwing a projectile at this range, I get really nervous. And Bio acknowledging he just has to concede that. Now, will he survive is another question. But if he broke there, he definitely would have died.
Yeah, I think he's dead. Oh, not quite, but Buzzsaw is going to be so hard to avoid. Oh, he's got a chance. Command grab. Oh, no, just again forward 2-1. Going past the up 3. I mean, look how good that string is. It looks like it's the only thing that Biohazard's doing because it kind of is. It's just how good it is. The extended hitbox, no hurtbox on it. It's a great, great string. And yeah, just do it meaty, and it works. You get a 3-way mix-up.
And able to just kind of keep himself more composed. That's one thing Bio's always had, is this unrivaled clutch factor. And in those situations, the panic button sets in. On paper alone, Chipasso kind of had no right losing that, but especially with his resources. But he had so much resources that the likeliness of him spending like at least one of them on a wake-up attack of some sort was kind of obvious. And Bio immediately scouted that out. Like, you're the one that's knocked down. I'm making a comeback. You've got all this meter. There's a good chance you're going to wake up. And that's exactly what happened. Unfortunately, Chipasso did also go for the wake-up attack that was, I think, one that left him the most vulnerable with an up 3. So it's no wonder Bio just kind of did the right thing there. One game apiece, though. Let's see if Chipasso can come back from that. I think he was so close to taking the game, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I still think that technically it looks like he's, to me, a little bit more comfortable in this matchup overall than maybe Biohazard is. Although I'd say that he's already down to less than half life. Just getting hit by a lot of forward 2s. I would love to see maybe some like down 4s to try to poke underneath that. Or maybe, yeah, I mean, just something, some way to challenge it, right? There's the grab, or it has the corner pressure. It needs to just run with this, though. Oh, or just don't block.
Looking for that kind of built-in auto shimmy 1-2-1. On block, nothing happens. On hit, full combo. Yes, please. Now, throwing Bio out of the corner. And that is something that really affected Kung Lao. The patch that they kind of altered the frames. I can't remember the exact specifics, but I know that Kung Lao's throw game was definitely hurt by that. The dash in down 3, not something he's able to enforce as much, and Bio blowing it right up.
Yeah, I mean, that was just the easiest little meaty setup. Ooh, doesn't quite get the conversion. Really need it right there. But yeah, Kung Lao doesn't get that nearly as much, which is why we see less of that play style that we used to see Foxy play all the time. And we've seen a little bit of an adjustment just to kind of how everybody plays the character. Of course, he's got some buffs in the form of Buzzsaw, pretty literally. But it's different.
Bio, piece by piece, always looking to move his way in there. Oh, with the command grab, but I don't think Chipasso was fully prepared for it. Releases it early. I like the adaptation, though. You know Bio's going to go for a sweep, and it creates a mind game. In this case, the early release, allowing a jump in to connect. Bio, big decision there to break and then challenge on wake up. Like, he was looking for some kind of KB, some kind of fatal blow opportunity, but it was not present, and now no breaker. Now, a good trade for Bio as while he's waiting. All right, as he's got that real estate, let's just get the extra damage. Why not?
And can I note another huge thing about Buzzsaw is that it's one of the only ways that you can get a meterless combo off of forward 1-3, and that's how he closed out that last round. So just again, Buzzsaw, great move. I don't feel like I don't even need to explain that anymore. Oh, gets the jump, could have dive kicked. Should be, I think, ready a little bit more for those. Has had that happen a few times. Nice side switch.
Really thought that Bio was going to try and break that, I think. Fishing for the armor break, even without the amplify. Trying to jump. Mix. No, wow, I'm actually so surprised that Chipasso pressed there. That was a read and a half. And a reactionary dive kick. Bio's in trouble. No, he's got it. No break attempt.
No.
I can only assume that Chipasso messed it up. Surely you may as well try and break that. I can only assume that it was one of those times where he tried and just didn't get it.
Yeah.
I refuse to accept anything else.
I think there's a good chance for that. But yeah, that's rough. I mean, that's now 2 games, basically, where it looked like it was about to be a Chipasso win, and then Bio bring it back. I mean, that Biohazard clutch factor doing so well. But it's just, I mean, that's got to be rough, right? When you're just that close 2 times in a row, and now suddenly you're just losing.
In that fashion, too, like, Bio was pretty much going for the only thing that he could. He was weak, had already taken 1 hit of last breath, barely had anything else. Sticks out that counter hit forward 4-4 just in case, and it worked. So with Fatal Blow, it is a shame that Chipasso didn't get the breakaway. I have heard people say in the past that if you break pretty much the absolute moment that forward 4-4 finishes, you can break out of the Fatal Blow, but it's unbelievably tight. I can only assume Chipasso tried to do it and he just missed it. You know, it's the only thing that would have saved him. But a hard call to make if we're talking about input alone. But Bio, again, Chef, we call him a clutch master because when he needs to make that comeback, no matter how bleak, he can do it and has done it. And we'll see if he can do it again, I guess.
Yeah, just the key is to not ever get him to chip life. Just let him live. You know, if you're about to knock him to chip life, just like drop the combo and then try to land another combo on him so he doesn't clutch you out. It's the only way, I think.
Only timeouts.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Just run away for the rest of the match. Weird that we see that combo with just the standing 2 instead of the 2-1, but it's working. And this mix is working too. 4-2-1, 4-2-1. Oh, there we go. Lands on it with the jump too. That was a good way to beat it.
A really nice pickup too. Very much aware that jumping was going to connect and ready to confirm the moment it does. Set up into grab. A grab that Biohazard can afford to take for now, but he's in a one touch to go away situation. If we get close range, grab or button will do it. Fishing for it again. No meter to flawless block was Bio. And the delayed forward 4. We're week 1 out here. That's how we roll. Chipasso getting around on the board. Good stuff for him and just about to build another bar of offense.
Yeah, that was scary, right? It was just like a kill if you get grabbed, a kill if you don't get grabbed, even if you take the strike. So just down to the mix-up. He read the grab that time. Chipasso's right. Ooh, combo? I think he might be able to down 1 on that one. Down 1 in a command grab would have been sick.
He missed the forward 2 in the last game, so I wonder if he was just trying to play it safe. Minor plus frames that forward 2, but enough to definitely count. I mean, that's just a good trade for Bio. You know, get the bar out of Lau, get a knockdown, you both get hit, and go into the next play. Wow, this time it just straight away disappears. This is the one thing you lack, you know. Nothing particularly to hit confirm into. That is the problem that you face. You do not have combos as this Baraka variation. Oh, the tick throw.
Chip dive? Oh, he's still alive. Wow, down, was that like a down 3 on Oki? That was really interesting. I wonder what that was trying to bait. I'm surprised he didn't try to bait the wake up 3 again with like the 4-2-1. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot that you can actually do about that. But it worked out in the end. It was just kind of a scary option. And so Biohazard match point here to take it with his super mix-up heavy Baraka.
Now, there was no break there from Bio. No break from Bio and no confirm from Chipasso. I think that was definitely the call out from Bio to sit there and do nothing. Uh-oh. Bonus damage. Another wake-up neutral jump. Another one! Chipasso just refusing to block on wake-up. He does manage to worm his way out of the corner, though.
Oh, didn't go for the full combo? That was really interesting. Just go for hat. Oh, no! Oh, this is a lot of damage over time. This is some of the most in the game. That's it. What? Unnecessary. So those are 2 of the strongest crushing blows in the game. Of course, that's going to be a win for Biohazard, but what a way to end it. Of course, catching them on the roll with the command grab almost never happens, but if you land it, so much damage over time. And then stabbing them low while they're blocking high, they can't be block stun, so it only works off of 2 different strings. And if you land it, huge damage, gigantic damage. So that would have almost taken out like a Chipasso and a half, basically. But, I mean, great stuff from Biohazard. Again, bringing that variation out. Like I said, last month I think was the first time that we saw him really bring that out for the first time. But it's looking more and more like, I guess, focused. You know, it's using a lot more forward 2-1. You realize that's just basically the core of the variation. And when you kind of just, you know, take it down to that, it works really well, clearly.
It's all about momentum, isn't it? The steamroll effect is something that Biohazard's always been known for. You know, whether it was when he made his competitive debut back in Injustice 1 with Bane, who I kind of think is single-handedly responsible for how Bio would eventually craft his entire game plan. We get to look at characters like Baraka with a variation like this. You don't really see anyone rock this variation of Baraka. It's always a weird one to me, actually, Chef, is that Baraka, not a popular competitive character, but then when there are Baraka players, they kind of tend to play one variation for the most part, whereas Bio rocks everything. He's almost kind of one of a kind in that instance. Considering Baraka has so much variety, it's kind of surprising. But you know what? Chipasso gave it one hell of a fight, and this is one of those classic characters and variations that you just need to have experience against by fighting Bio. It's the only way you can get it. Like, he's so guttural, so hard read. All about the next play, the next play, the next play. There's no other player like him. There's no other Baraka like him. So I think, given the circumstances, Chipasso made it extremely close.
Yeah, it's, I mean, a good showing, still going to be down in the lower bracket, but we're going to move forward to see who's going to take on Biohazard, where Breaking 2 is going to return to take on Osvaldo Diaz, who is new to the Open Series, as far as I know. At least new to the Open Series broadcast, is what I should say. Now, starting off, though, with Breaking 2, of course. Breaking 2, one of the secretly most consistent players in Open Series, has been in almost more Open Series top 8s than almost any other player. You know, there's only maybe 4 or 5 ahead of him altogether. Hasn't been able to pull off the full win, but is just that consistent of a player. Did well in pro competition. However, we haven't seen Breaking 2 for a while, so I'm curious to see, you know, is it going to be back to the Liu Kang? We saw kind of in his journey, went from Liu Kang to full Sub-Zero to back to Liu Kang a little bit, and realistically it could be anything at this point. But then his opponent, a player that neither of us are as familiar with, also a Liu Kang player, so we could see very much the mirror. I think he actually put Sub-Zero as his alternate also, so this could be a mirror of both mains and alts, but I'm excited to see a new player. Over in Europe, we got to see a new player for the very first time, and it was a very good showing. So it tends to be, especially in the monthly finals, right, where they've already had to fight their way to this point. They're not just starting off the bracket fresh. It means that they've earned their spot, and they're going to be a great player.
For sure. I mean, for those that need a bit of a recap, perhaps, over how this works, the monthly finals is a collection of 4 weeks of playing on the Monday. And then if you do well enough on those Monday tournaments, which is EU East and West, NA East and West as well, what happens is you get invited back at the end of the month to play in a structured tournament. So it's not kind of got the Swiss qualification style that the weeklies do and everything else. It is very much a traditional tournament in that respect, and you end up with the top 8 of people that won their way to get here, basically. So it opens up for me an interesting journey in the top 8, because like we're starting the top 8 now on stream, but the tournament would have already began before we went live. That's just the way it goes. But what characters do we see? So Breaking, it is Liu Kang for Breaking. And all right, Osvaldo Diaz will be rocking the Liu Kang as well. Is this a variation mirror? Or are we going to have any kind of differences here?
Let's see. I'm glad that it's one Liu Kang that's alive and one Liu Kang that's a Revenant.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Low
Slam.
fireball.
Okay,
yeah.
oh, the parry. So we have the parry and then the stance and the low fireball. Yeah, so they both have Dragon Fire. They both have low fireball. Just one is the slam, one is the dragon stance. So not an exact mirror, but a very, very close to an exact mirror. And honestly, I don't remember the last time that I've seen a Liu Kang mirror in competitive play. Ooh.
No, Liu Kang's the kind of... I like Liu Kang. You know, when I was a kid, I didn't used to really like Liu Kang that much, but the older I get, the more I appreciate how cool he is.
I will say that the Mortal Kombat 11 story did so much good for Liu Kang. I think they made him such a kick-ass character. So, good job on that. Because I immediately after I played this story, I was like, I want to main Liu Kang.
I just kind of reminds me of that scene of Kung Lao and Liu Kang, and Kung Lao says something like, I'm sure our counterparts from your era are already protecting this. And then everyone's kind of like, yeah, about that, boys.
Yeah, he's like, the Shaolin Temple is defended by the greatest traps. I'm sure our counterparts will be defending it from Chronica as we speak. And then that Jackie face, oh my god, so funny.
I don't know about that one, lads. But yeah, this has been a close round one, actually. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it realistically should be, right? It's almost an exact mirror, and this is a character that isn't going to necessarily just mix you to death, so this should be a pretty neutral-ish based matchup. Nice! Gets the 1-2-3 into the Fatal Blow, the classic, and it's going to be round 1 to break
It's got to be one of the most honest mirror matches in the game, because Liu Kang, what I think stands out about him as a character is the fact that he is high tier, very high tier. A lot of people still have him in the top 5, and he's always been a character that has kind of been around that area. But he is a fundamentals character, right? Jack of all trades. You need to be really good at the game still to make him thrive at the highest level. So he can still be a bit... You still don't see him as much as you would think. You know, but you look at someone like Breaking, who... Oh, no! Went for the flawless block, but man was way too far away for that one to work, and Liu Kang's up to being notoriously short range. Worthy attempt, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, that was a really quick final round. I mean, the first one super close, but breaking definitely controlling that second one. What was I about to say? Oh yeah. So there's one big change from breaking over the past several months since we've seen him. He changed his variation name from the dash_dash like eyes closed face to like apostrophe underscore apostrophe eyes open face. So over the past 3 months, the variation has woken up, I think. It's the big difference. And also, Osvaldo has the same face on his. I don't know what's going on with this. I wonder if these two players play together, right? I don't know who exactly is trading partners from, like the Mexican region, but they've got similar characters. They've got similar variation names. Maybe it's maybe they're friends. It's very possible.
I feel like we're missing some deepest lore. That's basically how I feel. But as we jump straight back into this matchup, breaking, it was a close call in the first round, but the second round not so close. So is this going to be an early lead taken here for breaking? Taking it in turns, pokey, but now mids. Yo, button, this is how you know there's a little bit too much respect being shown though. Button on block into another button, like a poke. That's where it's like, okay, we're getting a little bit too reckless maybe.
Hey, well, it's working for the moment at least, but yeah, maybe a little bit less respect should be shown. Ooh, didn't quite catch the back roll. Maybe attempted to, maybe didn't go far forward enough. Oh, that's a punish. Oh, that's not a punish. Making me a liar. A little bit too far for that. Some awkward pushback. I guess not the best forward advancing strings from Liu Kang. Obviously some of the best mids in the entire game and some of the best jabs and stuff, but when you get to that kind of awkward just outside of forward 4 range, oh, that should be it. The outside of forward 4 range getting a punishes is awkward because you have to like micro dash or like walk forward. So you do see those whiffs sometimes.
Bit of deja vu though over how the last round 1 of game 1 ended. It was close, and then it's string into fail. That's it. As we go in, looking for a hard read there on the flying kick. Could be a lot worse. I mean, right as the projectile comes out, saving breaking from what would have been a lot more punishment damage. We're just whiffing out, hit shadowboxing.
Oh!
Continuing to whiff. What is this? Whiff central.
They're
nice.
They're play fighting, They're making it look like they're hitting each other, but they're actually not.
0 damage combo videos.
Those are always so sick. Oh, big risk. Doesn't get the punish again, though. Just gets the grab. It actually throws out of the corner. So that could have been a corner position and a win. Still going to be the round win, which is really important. Don't want to go down 0-2 here, but now corner position is in favor of breaking, and you do not want to be cornered by Liu Kang, even if you're Liu Kang.
No one is safe, not even yourself.
I mean, this is pretty canonical, right? Liu Kang versus Revenant Liu Kang.
Yeah. Wow, this ranged game. Actually, I have not seen essentially a Liu Kang zoning war before, but here we are. They have similar projectiles. Liu Kang's fireball is a dangerous part of his game plan, and we talk about the jack of all trades. Oh, there's the advance, though. Lovely poke up there from Osvaldo Diaz.
Yeah, the back 3-4. I was talking about not the best at forward advancing normals. That's got to be the one if you got to choose one. Very similar to the Johnny Cage version of that move.
He does not. Oh, that's the one. But he hasn't got meat. Oh, God.
He just did it. Yeah, he needed that meter for sure. Is this going to be enough, or is it going to be really close? Oh, not quite. Oh, an inch. Oh, okay, it wouldn't have even been enough to kill. It wouldn't have been enough. So we're going to 1-1. Look at it. He's at 0.2 health. How do you get to 0.2 health? Less than 1. Less than half of 1. Less than a third of 1 health. That's pretty impressive.
Weird thing about the ending was that we were being as calm and collected as ever. Kind of a lot of the neutral was strong, right? Like we're being patient, lots of projectiles, kind of waiting for the opportunity to go and do something else. And then I think I blinked, and then all hell broke loose at the end. we saw the confirm, the forward 4. A real shame that there just wasn't any more opportunities to confirm it into bigger chances there, because he had the bicycle kick, but he didn't really have much meter to get the double, and obviously didn't have the crushing blow loaded. And then after that, just boom, fatal blow out of nowhere. I've never seen someone fatal blow out of a bicycle kick on hit before. That's definitely a first for me, but I think that's probably why it worked. It's probably the last thing breaking was expecting.
Yeah, I think maybe he was expecting that he was going to have meter, and so as soon as he didn't get the amplify, he was like, huh, what? And then suddenly he got fatal blow. But I think ideally in that situation, you want to go for the flying kick. I think it does more damage without meter than bicycle kick does without
I think
meter.
it does.
Yeah, plus it gives you the knockdown, so you could have got a meaty fireball, and that probably would have been enough, but it's just one of those situations where if you're just not ready, you think you have the resource, and you end up not having the resource. It happens.
This is Mortal Kombat.
Oh, he did. He said the name of the movie.
Finish you.
Whoa!
Yes. Oh dear. And the rock by itself, though. Okay, breaking off to a solid start. The full screen game to begin, but as we've seen in the previous game, not so patient for so long, as we can clearly see. But this unpredictability is, I think, giving us Voldo a bit of an upper hand. His rounds have come from those moments, and I guess the Kasari Slam just makes it even better.
Ooh, yeah, 2 in a row, too. And this is one of those, this is one of those matches where it's been, like, severe patience until it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, then there's always that moment. There we go. That's the knockdown that we wanted to see last time for no meter. And he clearly breaking, showing that he knows that you should do that. So I'm going to assume last round he thought he had the meter for the bicycle kick. I'm sure he'll be careful about that from now on. Good hit though. That works. Although could have I think got the bicycle kick amplify to build up a little bit closer to the crushing blow. Maybe. It's
when I look at this matchup, I kind of look at breaking on paper and think that he's kind of the favorite. I'm gonna have to admit my ignorance. I'm not particularly familiar with Osvaldo Diaz. I haven't seen him play before, but I'm impressed with what we're seeing so far, especially in the mirror of someone that's been in the Open Series since the very beginning. Breaking's been in these tournaments for over a year.
Yeah, and I mean, done really well against a lot of top players, right? Has defeated most of the players in the Open Series at one point or another. Looking to again though. This is a really, I feel like it's a really even matchup as far as players go. That's gonna be a punish. No, it should have been.
Oh my god.
Ouch.
This is kind of going into that unpredictability that I talked about. Doing a fatal blow on block into a turn set. Oh my god, and he's mixing it up as well. This is going to be a frustrating way for Breaking to lose if he loses, but he will not lose that round. I think for his sake, it's a good thing he was able to win that.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff all in a row that that felt really bad right there, but finally got a good enough punish. But yeah, didn't punish the fatal blow, didn't punish the whiff on the interactable, actually got hit afterwards. And there we go. Surprisingly, the first time we've seen that crushing blow this entire set. Feels like we usually see it, but not so far. And 2 in a row. What is this, Garrus?
That's a Liu Kang round right there, and a whiff punish. That was back and forth, but then Liu Kang in the final round had a chance to hit 2 of those crushing blows. It's always why, and you've probably heard me say this tons of times, sometimes refer to Liu Kang as a win condition character, right? Because it's like, if you can go into that third round and you have, for the most part, all of your crushing blows locked and loaded, it gives him such an advantage. If you've got bicycle kick, at the very least, if you have bicycle kick, forward 4 counter hit, and grab, escape failed. Like, that's already, any button without counter hit becomes unbreakable bicycle kick. A grab becomes unbreakable throw. Counter hit is giant damage into damage again that you can't really deal with, because if you break it, you're still going to get hit by that flying kick. And you can have other ones too. It's just, if you go into that round and he's got all of those things, you blink and miss it. And we saw 2/3 of it in action there.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, you kind of only need 2, right? Just once you get to the point where it's just strike throw and it's that scary on both sides, then it gets just that scary, right? Like, even if you've already used the counter hit forward 4, but yeah, it just adds even more and more layers to that. And yeah, I mean, you know, I made the joke about Garrus, but of course Liu Kang also infamously good for having those like multi-crushing blow rounds. We'll see if they can manage it and see who has got more of them in the third round going in. Ooh, the parry. That's another actual scary crushing blow, potentially, if we see the bait.
Okay, that was Voldo. Fighting back a little bit. The corner pressure, what really matters. The late. Wow, this is he is a lot of buttons. And those buttons are clearly catch and breaking off guard. Mostly the down 1.
Oh, the short hop into grab. I like that. That actually looks like something that Liu Kang would do, like characteristically. Oh, a quick breakaway, but that might just be chip after that. Oh, I like the attempt. I like the attempt. You weren't really getting out of that situation. It was either jump over or try the parry. But yeah, just not gonna work out.
Oh my
great
lord,
pickup.
the cleanest of clean jump-ins right there from Oswaldo Diaz as he keeps the corner pressure going.
Oh no! There's no way that's what he meant to do. He had to have like tried to forward 4 right there, right?
It's the only thing that makes sense, I think. It just had to be some kind of execution error. He lets the whole thing go. This is unusual. No! Breaking. Cannot figure out what's going on here, Chef.
All right, maybe getting a little bit too cocky here, you know, trying for like the full parries, but okay, here, crushing blow yourself. No, just gonna hold on to it. Could have got the counter hit one. Oh my! This is the weirdest set. They have just been checking each other and not checking each other at the weirdest times. Like, these raw fatal blows have been working way too well. I mean, it's a great fatal blow, right? I'm not blaming any of you for not blocking it, and it's caught people out of like stuff like fireballs, but it's unbelievable how many times it's worked this set from both sides. They've got some weird level of mutual respect, and then sometimes they'll do stuff like, oh, I'll do down 1 and then keep swinging on block. It's weird.
A lot more of that is coming out from Oswaldo than breaking, though, and you kind of get nervous. Is that going to be a benefit to him or a detriment? Because as we go later into this round, is there going to be some kind of giant decision that just costs the entire set?
Flying kick trade?
Did they both flying kick at the same time?
They both did
Production,
flying
if
kick.
you can hear us, I want to see that in slow motion, please. The double flying kick, let's see it. Oh no, the break.
Oh, the command grab. That should be chipped. There's no defensive meter left. So we're going to a game 5. But yeah, I can't believe they sat there and threw fireballs for like 20 seconds straight, and then at the same exact moment in neutral, they both used flying kick. That just shows the weirdness of this matchup, right? I get a feeling that these two have played each other a good amount before, just by the way that they're playing. It's not like they're trying to feel each other out. They're just going for stuff, you know? It's almost like when like you and a friend play, you know? It's like, oh, yeah, like, I'll throw out a flying kick here. Yeah, sure, I'll go for the fatal blow, you know? You hit it and you like turn and you look at them. It's like, yeah. It feels like one of those matches to me.
And if it's not, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
As we have this mirror going straight back in for the Liu Kang for another time. A game not the traditional fundamental Liu Kang. Like, there's a lot more chaos to this, and it is clearly catching breaking off guard. He needs to get it together in this final game, because if Oswaldo wins this, it will be a frustrating way to lose, I'm sure. But if it works for him, all the power to him.
Yeah. It's risk reward, right? It's all about risk reward. Also, this is the other reason you can tell their friends. They're letting the intros rock, right? That has to be. We've already seen this one. Skip it.
This is Mortal Kombat.
Is Mortal Kombat.
Not make
But yeah, I mean,
This isn't Shaolin monks. Oh, and yes, down in 1.
right, good start. Oh, all right. Maybe going to go a little bit more of the grappling route this time around. Of course, you know, having the command grab on Osvaldo's side has been a really big boon, right? Gotten a lot of mileage out of it. So maybe just doing a lot more normal grabs to try to even that up would be good. Again, though, no punish on the flying kick. It's an awkward spacing for that punish. Maybe like back 2 or something can reach. I don't know.
I know that sometimes when you crouch block stuff, it can have different amounts of pushback on it, and the crouch block on the flying kick is happening a lot. I do wonder if that has anything to do with it. And yeah, standing 1 again. This time the breaker forced. I think it's happened twice in this first round, actually, right here. Fatal blow's ready for Oswaldo. You've got to watch out for it. If that fatal blow's ready. He's eyeing it up.
It's coming. It's got to be, right?
Back to back down 1. This is what I'm talking about. The disrespect.
But they're also, in a weird way, playing super respectful right now. They're just taking turns. Except for every once in a while, they'll try something a little bit, I don't know, risky.
Every time I see a poke, I'm expecting a fatal blow in the end of it. I'm not going to lie. Down 1 on block into fatal blow. I mean, that's something I would see here. Hey, stands up into it, though. Not so good. Breaking now, bringing himself onto match point. And I think really dragging himself through this set. This is not a comfortable way to win, but he'll take what he can.
Back to the zoning game. Oh, wow! He actually flawless blocked that. I think that had to have been an accidental flawless block, but that one was certainly not an accidental flawless block. Making the hard read right there, and it was a good read. Didn't get a whole lot of reward off of it, though. Could have got a little bit more.
Kind of like that dash and grab, though. You know, someone's going to sit there and maybe try and block any punish you might try and do. Short hop. The short hop empty game has been Kind of apparent here for Osvaldo. Worked well in the last game, but not so much in this one. The advancing mid. Okay, there's another one. Reverse throw. Breaking. Starting to work on this. Oh, that just connects on its own.
A lot of fireballs connecting right now. Breaking, kind of throwing this life lead away just by getting it by fireballs, but here's the fatal blow. All right, is it gonna hit? They both have fatal blow. There it is. There it is. It was just it was like a game of, it was like a one-hit KO game at that point, right? It's just who's gonna land the win first, and the answer is Breaking. Is gonna take it in game number 5. But I gotta say, it was a close set. It's just, it came down to just a few little things, right? Missed punishes, a little bit too much disrespect at some points, Breaking, switching to the grab. But I'd have to say, I still think that these two play with each other, and as far as like labbing and stuff, like more than just in tournaments. Like that, there's just too much weird respect and not respect.
It certainly looked like it to me, and it's a good thing that Breaking is able to move forward, and we now move into the rest of the tournament. But we have 2 more of our first round of winners to go. I believe our next matchup is going to be El Kukui versus Ice Scorpion, so I'm really excited to see what kind of matchup we see there. But the Liu Kang mirror, now I kind of bigged it up beforehand as being this battle of fundamentals, because it often is. Liu Kang as a character is built around those fundamentals. I said, jack of all trades, and he's the kind of character that you can really make thrive with those natural skills. In this mirror match, though, it was definitely a lot more unconventional. Breaking was playing the way that we know and are familiar with, and Osvaldo was playing a lot more reckless, and it was clearly taking Breaking by surprise in some way. Even if they do play with each other, maybe a lot of the stuff that happened here, it surprised us, it probably surprised Breaking as well, which can be an effective tournament strat. If it bothers someone or frustrates them or whatever it is, then that can get you through a set as well.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you know what frustrates somebody, right? If you have some sort of knowledge on like how to tilt your opponent, it can be really, really useful, because not the same thing is going to frustrate everybody, right? But knowing exactly what you can do because of previous experience, it can mean everything. But that does mean that Breaking 2 is going to move forward to fight against Biohazard, which is a matchup that we've seen a good amount of times before in the Open Series, and one that Breaking has taken. But like you said, moving forward, 2 of the most consistent players in the Open Series. Actually, the next 2 matches are going to be that. But Ice Scorpion and El Kukui. Of course, El Kukui making it into the grand finals of last month's, monthly finals. And then Ice Scorpion has won one tournament recently, I think, but I just can't remember exactly which one it was. Ice Scorpion making 2nd place, I think, in the Mortal Kombat Pro Competition Liga Latina Mexico. Just losing shortly to Illuminati, actually, another Mexican representative that we actually don't see here today, and one that we usually see. That's a little bit surprising. But Ice Scorpion, very well known for the Jackie, one of the earliest Jackie players, plays her extremely well. A very aggressive player, no matter which character he chooses. And then El Kukui, one of our, I think actually the most recent newest champion. I know that sounds weird to say, but the 5th player to ever win a North American Championship here in the Open Series. The 5th and final so far, but plays a million characters himself. Probably going to be going to the Cetrion a lot today, but there's always a chance that we're going to see some new pick, some new counter pick, because he'd rather go to a counter pick, I think, than any sort of like confident pick a lot of the time.
Entirely depends on who Ice Scorpion picks, and you would assume that Ice Scorpion is going to pick Jackie here. So does that mean that El Kukui is going to pick the Cetrion? As of late, it seems to very much be his most popular character, is that Cetrion. We kind of talk about the game's current meta and how, even though there was some changes made in our recent patch that happened about a month or so ago, I mentioned this in EU, but I'll kind of mention it again in North America. Shao Kahn got some upgrades to his damage, and I think access to that damage is what I mean. He has more combo tools than he had before, and that's helped a little bit, but he still has the same weaknesses. It's just what he does well, he does better, and we've seen that because we know Video Game Joe won the EU West Pro competition with Shao Kahn in Grand Finals, so shoutouts to him, absolutely. But then we have some other changes. 950 health given to Cetrion, 950 health given to Joker. We see things like Shiva becomes another 950 health character, and of all the characters that were changed that have seen a drop-off because of the patch, Shiva is actually the only one, because she got hit quite hard. There's really no getting around it. The 950 health was a big hindrance to her. The stomp is the stomp now is just like the stomp in every other game. It's just not very good. Stomp has never really been a good move. This was the first game I definitely would say Stomp was good. So it's kind of one of those things where it's now in line with just the 20 years of Shiva, I guess. But every other character is still just as popular as ever. Lots of Jokers, lots of Cetrions. The health didn't really do anything to them in terms of the meta, so you still see a lot of Cetrion, and just as much Jackie, because she was basically unchanged.
Yeah, the utility is still the same with all those characters. I do feel like I'm curious why we haven't seen a few more of, at the very minimum, like, I do think that the Shao Kahn changes are nice, right? Obviously, he's still got some of the same weaknesses that he had, but he had some nice, like, you know, like he can confirm off of things differently now. Obviously, he gets more wall carry when he lands jabs closer to the mid screen, and also RoboCop. I want to see more RoboCop. One of the least used characters in the Open Series. We actually got those stats today, and I want to see them. But that's probably not going to happen. Seeing the rest of the players that we have today, I don't think we are probably going to see either of these. Cetrion and okay. Maybe the Cabal. One of those characters that seems like, I don't want to say is like potentially replacing Jackie, but a lot of the Jackie players have really chosen Cabal, and the variation name is Cetrion Pick. I love when they have the variation names that are clearly like, oh, you're showing us that this is your counter pick. Thank you. Now we don't have to ask you.
I love the fact that El Kakoi was hovering over other characters on the roster like he was going to pick anyone but Cetrion. Just a quick shout out. We all knew it was coming. It's been his main character for a while. You can have a Sub-Zero as your little picture and icon, but we know you as a Cetrion player right now, mate. You ain't fooling me. You ain't fooling my eagle eye. As we begin, though, how is this Cabal going to fare? You have the active frames of that natural barrier.
Oh, okay. Immediately starting off, showing that you have no fear, going for the raw Nomad Dash in neutral. That's one of the scariest things, is the moment that you realize that your opponent's willing to do raw Nomad Dash, you're like, oh, they'll do anything. Oh, just empty raw, or empty air, yeah, air gas. Air slight gas. I don't know. It's a weird name. Air Dash.
Ooh, we're calling it out. Oh, didn't hold it. If we held it, that definitely would have been the round. But actually, fortunately, because El Kakoi wasn't holding the air boulder for crushing blow, we still have it, and that's going to matter a great deal against Cabal. Loads of Cabal players rock that MK9 mask, by the way. I'm a big fan of that. Ayy, that's a big punish.
Ooh, gets the restand here. Oh, big punish. Oh, could have been. I'm surprised just 1-1-1 and not 1-1-1 into the hook slam. That's pretty weird. Maybe that was supposed to be there. That is kind of like the classic. A lot of people like to break away there, even though it's super punishable. But it happened, and there was no hook slam.
That backup barrier, always a dangerous tool, especially as long as you've got one bar of that amplify. The full screen. Nomad Dash, the perfect call out. Whiffs the down back 4, though. Hang on a minute. That's going to lose the damage, and in this situation, the position. Fatal blow. Can we see it landed?
Oh, jumps back over, and okay, not going to be it. That actually, if that had just been Tornado, that might have been enough, but that is going to be a conversion, full conversion. Both of these characters are players hanging on to their fatal blows. Yeah, this seems like a little bit of an awkward, like, game execution-wise for Ice Scorpion. Not to say that he's not as practiced with his character, but maybe he's not as practiced with his character. Also, though, a lot of the hits have been one-hit airborne, which makes it a little bit weirder just to get the enders, which I think we see just raw special instead of the standing 3 to special as an ender, or we see the air projectile. That's what it is.
Looking for the full screen Nomad Dash. Got to be careful with it. I know the risk goes down considerably now the counter hit. KB is gone. Speaking of counter hit, the armor break is going to trigger that crushing blow there on the down back 4. Push back. Good situation to enforce that down 4 of El Kakoi. Looking for more. These Nomad Dashes are absolutely going to frustrate you to no end. Looking for fatal blow now. That will do it.
Oh, no! I mean, it was good. It was a good choice right there. It just might have been a little bit too slow, or maybe the string was a little bit too minus. It's a good fatal blow for doing stuff like that because it runs you, backwards all the way around the world, so you can get out of danger's way, get out of harm's way. But again, just a little bit too slow, or that was just too minus, and we did see El Kakoi push the aggression. So Kakoi's going to take game 1, but hey, you gotta appreciate it. We got a lot of raw fatal blows today in North America so far.
We've seen a lot of raw moves in general, though, Chef, because, I mean, how many standalone, just on their own Nomad dashes were coming out? Ice Scorpion now is going to be going over into Jackie, though. So that Cabal, having the variation name of Cetrion pick, one would definitely assume that is a work in progress, I think, because it didn't look 100% optimized and refined. It looked like there's still work to be done, which, look, for these tournaments, it's still important to test it in a competitive setting, because how else are you going to get that experience? It really is as simple as that. But you've always got the main to fall back on, in this case, Jackie. Ice Scorpion's Jackie is phenomenally strong. We've seen that time and time again. Like I said, Open Series, this is the monthly finals of June. We've been doing these broadcasts for over a year at this point, and Ice Scorpion's been there since day one, folks, day one.
Yep, literally the original, like, powerhouse that fought Mighty Unjust every single week. So
it was the battle every week, every time. It was the grand finals, the eternal battle between the two. Now it's the brother.
Yeah, not as easy. Ooh, the blast actually got ate by the wall. Probably could have maybe amplified that and got the crushing blow in a weird interaction, but it's a possibility. And so far, still having some of the same issues, you know, being held out. Ooh, nice. Doesn't get the full far Hell's Wrath, though. Oh, catches the roll, and that's going to be it. I wonder if that was necessary. I didn't see how much offensive bar there was. Maybe there just wasn't very much, but a normal combo might have killed. And there was no breakaway, of course, since the roll hit. Let's see. Probably safer just a fatal blow, I'll be honest.
Yeah, in this instance, you don't want to give Cetrion any room, because we always call her a low damage character, because normally she is, but there is every opportunity for her to have those kind of explosive comebacks. If she has the KBs, if she has fatal blow, she gets that kind of one-time cash out. Oh, that must have just been on the cusp of being max range, the flawless block. El Kakoi doesn't have any meter though, so we couldn't punish that.
Boulders coming back. The zoning working wonders here. I mean, you know, even despite the high mobility, Cetrion has some of these zoning tools, the only zoning tools in the game, that are really good at actually stopping all that mobility, partially because Hell's Wrath sits so high in the air. Ooh, nice dash under. That's a great way to AA, gonna keep him standing. Goes for the mix, and oh, immediately red, immediately.
Oh, what? The meaty leap. I mean, did El Kakoi try and flawless block on Wake Up? That's the only thing I can assume happened there. He just ate it. There was no button or anything.
It looked like his controller died for a second or something like that. Like, it did not seem like he should have just sat there and taken that. That was pretty surprising. But, hey, you know, whatever he tried to do, it didn't work. And now it's going to be 1-1. The Jackie looking a lot more practiced, right? No dropped combos. And that was one thing, actually, I think, about the Cabal. It looked like the game plan for the Cabal worked, but there just wasn't as much, well, at least just like wasn't as on point with the execution as he could have been. So had all those Cabal combos worked in the very first game, we might have seen Cabal, you know, again, I might have seen the win. But I like to switch back to the Jackie. Just looks like he's most clean with him at the moment. Obviously, he's been playing the character for like a million years now. Sub-Zero. Okay, maybe going to sub, maybe.
A little bit of uncertainty, it seems.
Sub is a pick that we've seen before from El Kakoi and from Mighty Unjust to go against Jackie. Just because, you know, you get to mix her up a little bit harder because she's got that little bit less life. And then you get some nice air-to-air conversions. Back 2 is a great move at stopping people out of the air. You know, good air-to-airs on the character. You can slide under stuff. It tends to be a pick that can work out, honestly, in kind of most matchups. Of course, Sub-Zero, I don't think has like a particularly bad matchup in my eyes. I think just Sub-Zero has the chance to win anything and the chance to lose anything, as is the way of the mix.
And on that note, is it going to be enough to bring him back into it? Well, that's a clean punish from that -10. And Dash Punch is not safe on block anymore. That was changed a few patches ago. But there's the opening.
One big thing to note, though, is that we do see the Rising Ice. We see the same variation, I think, as the Started plays, which we're used to seeing it, but we shouldn't be quite as used to seeing it in North America, where we see a whole lot of the amplified Ice Ball plus Creeping Ice. Oh, just jumps over.
That was ugly. That was ugly. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat that one.
Hey, that's how it happens sometimes. But yeah, again, the Rising Ice clearly already paying off, right? One of the best special moves I think that Sub-Zero has, and I really want to see kind of every sub kind of move to it over time, I think.
It's becoming more and more popular. You look at the nature of Sub-Zero, the character that mixes you to death, and Rising Ice just gives you your highest damage. Absolutely.
Also the coolest combos, which is way more important, right?
Oh yeah, the highest style factor. I couldn't agree more. Bit of a drop perhaps there for my Scorpion, who eats the overhead. That's a full combo for sure. Raw jump in, looking for the low, no confirm. No, I just don't think believed in it. But it doesn't matter because a clean jump in for El Kakoi. And the reset. You got Sub-Zero'd, but no, the drop.
Oh no!
The mistake!
Now it's the other way. What a shame. What a huge shame. Although, I have to say, at the end of that, really great stuff from my Scorpion to know exactly what he could do to kill without spending the fatal blow and without letting his opponent break. That was super smart. Great like character knowledge and comfortability.
That is a shame and a half if you're El Kakoi, though. That win was assured. Dropped the combo. And what? Just throwing out these slides like it. Going out of style. The block and the respect shown. Back-to-back poke. Ice Scorpion hesitates and eats a full catch for it.
Poked back with raw 1-2-4. It was a really weird pick. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but I mean, it hit. It's a knockdown. Sitting the damage over time. That's scary. And that fatal blow is still available because Ice Scorpion was so good. Oh! Okay, no defensive bar, but crushing blow? Yep. Ouch. And, I mean, was able to build up so much of that KB in just this round alone, right? 2 raw slides in a row. I mean, whatever works, but the fact that he managed to land those meant that each one of those was essentially doing a lot more damage than they actually did because they built up that KB.
This is where the utility of crushing blows extends even beyond, because it just gives a gigantic cash out of damage in positions where you're extremely used to there being, I think, scaling. You know, the up twos, those launches from Flawless Block, they often result in combos that, they're combos, sure, but they don't do a lot of damage because there is a lot of scaling there. The second you have that crushing blow locked and loaded, Ice Scorpion going in for that leap and getting Flawless Blocked for it, there's a chance that taking that much damage as a Flawless Block punish was just not a part of the plan at all. It might not have even crossed his mind. And then you realize, oh wait, he's got Crushing Blow. This is going to do so much more than I'm expecting, and that one decision has just cost you the entire match. Sub-Zero's practical KBs are so fantastic. Like that.
Yeah, like you were saying, you know, a character that it just feels like maybe the game was designed around, right? Has all the different types of KBs too.
I really do.
Yeah, I truly believe it. You're like having the multiple hit KBs, having the grab KBs, having the counter hit KB. It's just all the different types. So it just feels like it shows off all the different mechanics of the game pretty clearly. But here we go. Going back in, and the sub pick working out, I'd say really well, right? That was kind of almost like 3 rounds won. It's just there was that one really heartbreaking drop.
With punish though, crispy stuff there for my Scorpion. No!
Ooh.
Oh, I cursed him.
That
combo
was
drop
weird.
Is unsafe. That was very weird.
It looked like it hit to me, like 100%, but I don't know. Sub-Zero, he's wearing the helmet. Maybe it's the helmet advantage, as they call it.
He's extra protected. Aye, but Ice Scorpion isn't, as those 2 blades immediately come out for the overhead. And a match point here for El Kakoi.
Should have been wearing a helmet. All right, I like these, just the Ice Axe, another great tool. And again, the back too. That's what I was saying before this began. One of the main reasons why you want to pick it is you cannot do the big in neutral jumps when that back 2 exists.
Oh, hang on a minute. Wait, we completely missed the fact that Ice Scorpion is playing upgraded now and not... Oh no, he's making it too obvious. How did I miss that?
Honestly missed it because Ice Scorpion hasn't had a chance to do anything. This has been... Okay, never mind. Here we go. Finally going to get a little bit of an opportunity here. I don't know about fully converting into the fatal blow already. Obviously, you got to stay alive, but now you got to get back in again when this has been a difficult situation. But yeah, this is like the first real hit that we've seen. And there we go. The back 2 again. That's going to be it. And I like it. You know, we saw that work out really well in I think it was Europe, right? Where we saw... I actually can't remember their name. That mystery player using it to a really strong extent, but now seeing it from Ice Scorpion is pretty cool. Pretty cool. It didn't work out, but I don't think it was necessarily because the variation switched. It was just because that neutral was fully controlled by El Kakoi. I think the sub switch worked wonderfully.
I do like the idea, though, because let's actually look at, first of all, chat room. I'm going to ask you a very serious question. Are we the only people that missed that upgraded got picked there? Because I didn't say anything about it in chat. Did we all get mixed by that? Because it was the same visuals, and then we saw the ground pound at the last minute. I think we all got mixed by that. But also, I kind of like this thought process of still picking upgraded, because if you're fighting someone as Jackie, and they're just flawless blocking you to death, which was actually how the previous game ended, the one before the final one, was flawless blocking everything and El Kakoi getting a punish and everything else. If you then go, right, well, the grenade launcher, I can't use it in the neutral because Ice Ball will just trade. So that's not good. I'm using it in pressure and I'm just getting flawless blocked. That's where I'm like, upgraded might still very much have a place in the game. If there are any other characters that are able to essentially just challenge what the grenade launcher offers, that might be where the different snappier shrapnel blast of no grenade launcher might be more useful. And then the ground pound just giving you that extra layer of mix. I do still think there's a place in the game for upgraded that we just don't see get picked that much. Maybe I'm alone thinking that, but I do like that thought process behind Ice Scorpion. It was a worthy attempt.
It was, I agree, and hopefully we get to see it more later. However, El Kakoi moving forward, and now we get to see the final player who's going to make it into the upper semifinals. Between two slightly less known players named Tweety and the Mighty Unjust. Not like they're the only people who've won over the past 5 months in our monthly finals or anything like that. That would be wild. No, just kidding. That is exactly what they are. Tweety and the Mighty Unjust almost need no introduction, right? Two of the most well-known Mortal Kombat players in the entire world, and they've met in the grand finals of Open Series just way too many times. We have seen them play an infinite amount of times. In fact, they also met in another tournament recently, and I can't remember what exactly it was, but yeah, they play just too much. Oh, they were in their FGC Arcade. Oh, they're also in the ECT. That's what it was. They just played too many tournaments. That's the big thing about these two players, right? Is that not only are they great players, top players, but they enter every single thing, whether it be, you know, some of these PS tournaments, whether it's community tournaments, whether they're invited to things because they're so well known for doing all of this. These two, they don't just sit on their laurels and be like, yeah, I'm good at this game. That's cool. They're just constantly grinding, constantly playing more and more. And that's why we've seen them about 300 times, I feel like, in the Open Series.
And the most recent time they would have clashed, as far as I'm aware, between like Tuesday and now, there might have been another community thing they played in. I would not be surprised. I'm going to be honest.
5.
I just you never know. There's so I got to give shout outs to the community. I really do. And I don't know if anyone that runs community events like could be watching this stream over in North America, but on the off chance that you are, shout outs to you, because the North American scene is spoilt for choice over what Mortal Kombat 11 tournament they want to participate in. You've got the plethora of PlayStation tournaments because of Open Series, we have the upcoming EVO Online, but then on a community sense, you have so much activity, whether it's tournament, exhibition, whatever. There's like an amazing level of support that has never been this apparent in NetherRealm before. And that's saying a lot, considering we've had an online scene for as long as we have. The last time these two players fought was FGC Arcade. Unjust was taking it a little bit less seriously. It was still close between the two of them. Tweedy took the win, I believe, but Unjust was picking a different character every time he lost, and it was still close.
Yeah,
it was 5-4 to Tweedy.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that close. But, yeah, that's one of the things about these players, right, is that they do play against each other so much that sometimes they try some things, right? Because at a point, eventually, you're like, okay, I have fought you so many times. I should at least try to use this a little bit constructively. But this is the matchup that we usually see between them. We see the Garrus, of course, from Tweedy. Almost never picks anything else. And then Mighty Unjust going with the Jackie. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But right now, it looks like it's working.
It's one of those situations where you know the ins and outs of each other's game plans so much that you kind of look at character and totally disregard it. As we go through, they meet you jump in. The difference is, though, you know, Mighty Unjust was playing all kinds of different characters and kind of just having some fun with it, I guess. Tweedy is not that kind of player. His fun comes from taking his favorite character and then just playing the game. And that's always been Tweedy in a nutshell. And in that exhibition, he was playing Garrus. In tournaments, he plays Garrus. Why? Because Garrus is his favorite character and he has the most fun with Garrus. That's just the way it is. However, this game favors Mighty Unjust, but it is only a 1-0. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, I mean, he has fun with Garrus, maybe not having so much fun with Garrus right now. Hasn't really even hit Mighty Unjust, really. It's just one of those games where just out the gate, the offense began and it just never ended, and it didn't matter if that was Garrus, it didn't matter if that was Shiva, if that was Cetrion, if it was Frost. That was just over. It's like, okay, now it's time to start the set, right? That's what you got to think of if you're Tweety right now. You got to be like, okay, I'm down a game, but it's time to begin.
And you look at these positions. We were talking about how well players know each other. The layer upon layer upon layer is already obtained. You know, being able to press buttons out of plus frames and stuff like that. We look at certain challenges now, and it's very easy for us to look at it and go, I can't believe this person pressed in this situation. It's Tweedy versus Mighty Unjust. They've played each other in grand finals alone in Open Series for 6 months. They are so familiar with each other that when you see a string that's plus, it's not guaranteed. It's another situation, right? It's another read. That's what it comes down to. It's how much these two players have played each other. That when you see stuff that is otherwise surprising, don't be surprised here. Expect the unexpected, because it's the only way you can get the upper hand.
Yeah, they just know all of each other's habits, and at this point, it's just really just clashing, basically. It's who makes the right decisions, who can pull out something new for the first time ever, which is really rare when you have played this many times. And, who can mix, who can win the mix. That's a big deal.
Now, pressure begins. Mighty Unjust lands an opening. Very low on health, though, so he's going to have to go pretty much all in. A nice delayed wake-up there from Tweedy. Stagger in the offense, and that's a 1-1-1. Snap! Barely alive, though. Only 2% in the tank.
Uh-oh.
The whiff. Don't break.
Uh-oh. All right, one more opening here. Do not get hit. Oh, but now you almost can't get grabbed either.
Oh my god! Tweedy went for a hard call-out. That was not blocking. That's a hard round to lose. Tweedy having the win in the palm of his hand, and unfortunately now put straight back into the corner. A lovely read on breakaway for Mighty Unjust, and Tweedy's kind of in big trouble because he just doesn't have defensive meter. That's gonna...
Ooh, ouch. I mean, this is just running away from Tweedy. Okay, final lands a mix-up, and all he needs really is one mix-up to get his game started, right? Every single thing that Garrus is going to hit you with leads to Oki. Just kidding, it's over. I mean, realistically, there might be a chance here, but damage over time on the ground. Oh, down 3. That was a really weird interaction between the down 3 and the roll.
No, Tweedy, get out of there.
Oh, wait. He could do something here. He just literally needs to never, ever let the Mighty Unjust get a single moment to think. Okay, never mind. Let him get a moment, and that's going to be that. So a quick 2-0 from Mighty Unjust. This is a matchup that's gone back and forth so many different times. It just today it's looking like this is going to be maybe the Mighty Unjust favored. But also, It almost doesn't matter. I say this every single time, but the first time that they played a bracket, it almost doesn't matter because we've seen them face off in the first round of tournaments before plenty of times, or in the second round, or in the upper bracket finals, and then no matter who wins there, when they get to the grand finals, get to the potential reset, it's usually going down to the wire, and it's just as many times it's been the person who is in winners winning as it's been the person who's in losers resetting and then winning. So you just never know. This is just them kind of feeling each other out for the day, and then seeing who's got that little bit of an advantage.
I mean, I was gonna pretty much, Chef, say the exact same thing. Like, I know you're like, oh, I know we say this all the time. We do say all the time because it matters, right? It matters. Whatever happens here, this could be a 3-0, whatever. When they play again, it's almost guaranteed to not go the same way because it never does. And we're talking about it like it's over. We can see a reverse sweep here from Tweedy. Like, this is kind of what we mean. You look at it, you have to take it a game at a time with these two because it's always about just that next little thing that might be different enough to get you that next match. As Tweedy this is a kind of ugly round so far, but every hit right now for Tweedy is working wonders. Escape failed, trying to attack, but just not get in the right direction. Breathing space for Tweedy.
Choosing the ugly skin, maybe he wants an ugly round, you know what I'm saying? Trying to scare him. This is a bit of a Frankenstein of a round, I think. Just piecing together hits here and there. But a really good one, honestly. When you want to make the 3-0 comeback, you want to start off with a really strong round. And I think that was a great way.
You can almost say that the dream is alive.
Oh, my God. No, I don't want to say that. I refuse.
Alive. My neighbor's probably listening going, what the hell is that person doing?
What is he yelling about? Is there a mad scientist in the next apartment
Quoting
over?
There's a cultured horror fan right there, quoting the Frankenstein's monster. Oh, there it is. Another Yo, Tweedy. Oh my god.
Crunch.
Oh,
670 damage. No big deal. All right,
Just
still
casually doing
though.
60%, dude. That's a lot of damage.
Oh, that's gonna be it.
Oh.
Do not break away against in a situation like that. Now, honestly, I say that, but we've seen so many times that even Tweedy, the most, I'd say the most consistent Garrus player around, or at least one of the most consistent Garrus players, still constantly misses the crushing blow with the sand trap trying to break armor because it's kind of variable timing. So I guess it was maybe safe to do that, but you're already so late in the combo, it almost feels like you don't want to break away at that point. Just maybe use your defensive bar, but you know, maybe at that point you're down so much that you just want to try something, and I get it. It just unfortunately just gave Tweedy a 617 damage combo on a 950 health character, which it hurts a little bit, I would say, to say the least.
I am used to seeing that armor break deal a lot of damage as Garrus, but in the circumstance that it deals over 60%, that is something I'm not so familiar with. So
Yeah.
That's just Tweedy having the perfect call out. And you are right, the variable timing of being able to send someone up into the air with better spikes, and then you've got the sand trap at the end. That has to come from just getting it consistent by having the game sense and the matches played to figure out, right, this is when most people break in this situation, because a lot of people do miss it. You see a lot of Garrus players try an armor break, and they just completely miss it because they can't get a call out on when the opponent's going to try and break it. In this case, though, Unjust, he needs to kind of get that offense locked in, because while it's been Tweedy's turn, it has been his entire game. And there's the anti. You know, when we were talking about that little inch of a +1, you know, that upper hand that makes all the difference. Right now for Tweedy, it is just the fearlessness of interrupting this pressure. He got overwhelmed in those first two games, and now can he make this one count? Mighty Unjust gets a knockdown. Yo,
Wow.
Wow, that was far away.
That was so far away. Oh my gosh. What a down one. I think it hit the extended hurt box with the jump too, but I mean, that was still incredible. All right, can this be enough? Yes, it will, and waste the breakaway. Interesting choice to break away right there. Now we've seen two huge breakaway punishes, but Mighty Unjust now in match point. No defensive bar for Tweedy, so any solid hit right here, and you are eating half your life, and that's going to be... Oh, it should have been one solid hit. Does the blast out of the air a little bit too slow. Not as easy from that low string, so it's an understandable drop, but luckily didn't get punished for it or anything.
It almost seemed a little bit like Unjust tried to delay it so he could side switch. There was just something about how late he did it that I think he was trying to side switch, but that might have just been me thinking out loud. A clean jump in, one that Tweedy didn't believe in, Chef. That could have been a full combo. It should have been a full combo. The delayed mid.
Oh, wow, back to hitting from like pretty much its own max range. Oh, that's a weird, yeah. That,
big beefy arms.
oh, breakaway's not going to do much right there, and that's going to be it. A quick set between these two. They tend to try to make it quick, I think, because they know that there's a good chance they'll play each other again today, and then again tomorrow, and then again the day after, most likely. But this time, Mighty Unjust is going to be the winner, and I think that actually sets him up to play against El Kukui, his brother, our grand finals from last month, up in the next round of the upper bracket. So I don't know if they're going to do the random select again. It is a little bit early in the tournament. We'll see. Or maybe they just want to play for real today. But regardless, Tweedy going down into the lower bracket round one. Pretty scary for everybody else who's going to have to be in the lower bracket.
I couldn't agree more, to be honest with you, because Tweedy has such a good chance of hitting that top four, and I will be honest, I have absolute confidence that he will. It's just how he plays week by week, month by month. But that matchup, nice little teaser for things to come, perhaps, but the only time they're going to run it back is if Tweedy gets all the way into grand finals now, or if Unjust gets knocked into losers finals before we start off, which, when you kind of look at the results recently, I think it's kind of a low chance of that happening, but only time will tell, and it's a new month, a chance for things to be fresh. But Unjust going in with a main character, that is where things are different. They did play in the FGC arcade. It was 5-4, with every time Unjust losing, picking an entirely different character. And it was still 5-4. Like, that's just how I think comfortable Unjust is in the Tweedy matchup. So the second he goes in with Jackie, it's going to be advantageous for him, I think. Osvaldo Diaz defeating Chupasso 3-2 off stream, so we might be seeing him later. But Chef, that opens up for our next round of winners.
It does, but also as a side note, Tweety and Ice Scorpion in round 1 of the lower bracket, not the easiest match. I mean, that is a pretty ridiculous match, which we saw in Europe as well. We saw some previous champions doing that, but like you said, the next rounds of winners, Biohazard against Breaking and El Kukui versus the Mighty Unjust. 2 more classic matches from the Open Series, which I'm quite excited to see, and maybe we'll get a new champion today. Who knows?
Right, so if you want to get involved in all these tournaments, you see it right up top, PlayStation tournaments. We have the Open Series that continues for all kinds of different games. We'll be showing you the schedule later today to find out what games are happening there, monthly finals and everything else. At the bottom of the screen, compete.playstation.com. That is the one-stop shop for all things competitive PlayStation. And it's not just what's going on right now and the fact that we've just had FGC Arcade, upcoming EVO Online. All of it is going to be done through Compete. So make sure that you get on that platform, sign yourself up, get involved in some cups, get some practice in, and we'd love to see you on stream. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to find out which 2 players make it into the all-important top 3 and the winners' finals.
And welcome back to the PS Tournament's Open Series North American Monthly Finals for June. We're about halfway done. Of course, I am Wonder Chef joining Ketchup on the mic. And like I said, you know, a few players already out, I think, or at least at the very minimum, a few players down playing in the lower bracket while we decide who will be in our guaranteed top 3, making it to the upper bracket finals. And we've got some nice matches coming up. Biohazard and Breaking, and El Kukui and the Mighty Unjust, and maybe not our next match, but I hear that we're in for a treat. Isn't that right, Ketchup?
Yes. So the last time El Kukui and Mighty Unjust fought each other in Open Series, it was the Grand Finals, and they agreed to random select every single game. They're doing it again today. So this isn't Grand Finals, this isn't even Winners Finals yet, but it just seems to be a common theme with the two of them. So when we see the brothers face off, they're going to random every matchup. They've agreed to it. It's now bound. It is what it is. I'm excited for that. But first of all, we're going to get through Biohazard versus Breaking. So Breaking likely... We saw Liu Kang earlier, but he has used Sub-Zero in the past against Bio as well. Bio today using that mix-up related Baraka, which is great. Whether he uses it again, that's a question I don't know the answer to, but we're about to find the answer out in a few seconds.
Yeah, and just a little bit of history, I guess, for people who haven't been watching the Open Series for the past year like we have. Biohazard had a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean a lot of weakness against Sub-Zero for a while, for several months. It was just every single Sub-Zero, including Breaking, that he would run into, he would fall to them. And there were a lot of not-so-great placements because people started to realize that. You know, Mighty Unjust would essentially take the pseudo-free win against him. Breaking would beat him. El Kukui could beat him, and it was just all this Sub-Zero, Sub-Zero, Sub-Zero. So we saw Biohazard going through a bunch of different choices to try to counterpick, to try to feel comfortable in the matchup. Went around, tried some Baraka stuff, went to a very cool Nightwolf variation, which I'm sad that we haven't seen since then, but eventually just kind of seemed more comfortable in the matchup in general. No longer has that quite that level of weakness, and it looks like we are going to see the same variation of Baraka.
Now he'll be fighting off against Sub-Zero, and has been a problem matchup for Bio for some time. You know, once upon a time, I think, is more accurate, though, because he hasn't seemed to have the same level of struggle against Sub-Zero that he once did. And I've never seen him use this variation of Baraka against Breaking before, so that's going to be an interesting exchange as we now start this first matchup. And this Baraka, as we said before, it's not combos, it's not even close to stylish, but it's all substance, and that substance is mix-ups.
Don't achieve greatness.
Whoa, that's a weird thing to say.
Then Tarkata is doomed to failure.
What a weird thing to take a really strong stance on.
Judgmental Sub-Zero, he's about to get mixed up by the old ways. That's what he's about to do. Maybe,
well, maybe.
If Breaking
maybe
loses
not.
the game, which might not happen.
It might just be mixed the other way, but yeah, I'm a little bit weirded out by that. Like, okay, you hate on nomadic people? That's so specific and random. I did not know that was part of your character, Sub-Zero. But here we go. Here's the
Baraka going to teach him what's what. Oh, the confirm into Ice Ball, though, is going to give Breaking a nice opening. I think, importantly, too, a chance to build up that crushing blow on the slide.
Oh,
big
wow.
whip.
That was a great punish, though. I gotta say, that was like as ready as you can be to punish that.
Keeps the whole thing unbreakable. That was clean. Breaking, making sure that... Well, again, I think the slide into itself could have been broken, but... Oh, that's one. Here we go. Big damage to start off. The fact that you get that all unbreakable, 20%, 21% doesn't sound like much, but you can't break any of it. Speaking of which, 24% unbreakable. Mix up.
Yeah, this is one of those variations where you're just never going to break away against this Baraka because this Baraka just doesn't launch you. So you can use your defensive meter other ways. Flawless blocking, a really good option. We saw that in the previous set, actually, where I think it was Chapasso. Yeah, Chapasso was getting some great flawless blocks off the forward 2-1-2 string.
Immediately mixed by that overhead, though. Bio having to work his way back in. The advancing forward 4. Had a combo in mind, but that jump in confirmed. Lovely stuff. Chip damage.
Yeah, went for the chip. First time we've seen Chop Chop so far today. Actually, though, Chop Chop is still one of the strongest special moves in the entire game. So if we do see an actual confirm from like forward 2-1, ideally that's what you confirm into. It's a great knockdown and just the highest damage that you can do.
I think definitely looking for the down 3 to at least punish on Wake Up, just to try and get a bit of a turn stealer perhaps. Is that enough? No, not quite. He was
Almost.
narrowly late for that to knock KB. Jump in. Breaking, don't get blended. Nice confirm though from Breaking, lovely stuff. Has already spent the slide crushing blow though, so we're not going to get that big payout. However, this is a good start.
Yeah, and also, I mean, a great, well, actually, that was a little bit weird way to end that. I just gotta say, like, no defensive bar. You don't get any Oki for the amplified slide. However, it doesn't look like it's gonna matter. Oh, maybe it does. Maybe it will. Uh-oh. This is scary. Oh, just anything. Okay. Gets the down 1. That was very scary. But yeah, went for that slide, the amplified slide at the end. And realistically, unless you're trying to get, like, the damage to kill, or you're trying to set up the crushing blow, you don't really want to use the amplified slide because it completely throws them out of your Oki jurisdiction. That's a cool way to say that. It like just throws them on the other side of the screen, and realistically, you're not going to be winning in that position as Sub-Zero when you could maybe guarantee some chip if you just ended like normal slide or some sort of other knockdown option.
So with how that game ended and knowing Bio like I do, this is purely just a, maybe a tinfoil hat theory, but doing a jump kick that high and just getting hit by the down 1 is unlike him. I could only assume what he might have tried there, and it would be a very Biohazard thing to do, is a high up jump kick, flawless block the incoming poke, launch it, and then it would have been a free fatal blow because you wouldn't be able to get out of there. But he just got hit. I don't even think that was a counter hit. He just got straight up clipped by the down 1. I feel that's what he tried to do, and he just didn't get it. Because that down 1, Breaking went for it because, if he messes this very hard thing to pull off up, I win the game, so of course he tried. But yeah, that would have been a sick comeback for Bio if he pulled it off, but not quite. Breaking now, 1 game up here, and this Sub-Zero continuing to look strong against Biohazard.
Yeah, he went for that double forward 4 crushing blow. Didn't quite work out, but I mean, it was still a plus. And no, surprisingly, I gotta say, the one big thing that we always see from Biohazard, we're not seeing it all today, no flawless blocks. And I mean, that really goes back to what you were just saying about how maybe that was an attempt to flawless block to end that last game. But I mean, when are we going to see, we're seeing forward 4s that are flawless blocked by Bio. Literally one of the best flawless blockers in the entire world, in my opinion, usually, but not almost any today.
There's that meaty though, keeping the pressure up. Oh, walk back into command grab. That's how we roll here with Bio, apparently. Lovely block on the overhead. Breaking that 1 successful block might have kept him in, not quite. Jumping. Either be so sharp that you cause sparks when you drag your blades on sand.
Maybe there's just like I don't know, like flint below the sand, and we just don't know that they're actually fighting on that. Makes sense.
I'd say concrete layer, like old gardens and stuff. Yo, there's that forward 2-1 though. Baraka back into the corner. A good trade for Bio to keep the plus frames on.
Right, Oki time. Jumps over. It just doesn't even need to mix. Just gets the full hit. Although not the full combo, unfortunately. Still, though, looping a bunch of Oki all in a row. This is turning around very quickly. Tried to sweep. I like that. One of the furthest range kind of like low-profile normals that you can get with sub. But it might not matter. Oh, or maybe it will. Standing forward into Fatal Blow, and I think that's going to be enough.
Knowing Sub-Zero, it probably will. Actually, yes, this 100% will kill. There's no doubt. Finish it. But importantly, too, able to fight. I mean, look how close mid-screen we pretty much are off the back of that one. It's the underrated tool of Fatal Blows. It's not just the damage and everything else. It is the basically screen repositioning. Bio having you in the corner gives him his highest edge, and that is a accident.
All right, another load up for the slide crushing blow. This is looking pretty good, honestly. Just Breaking needs to just hit a few more things here. Oh, that was a max range back 1 with punish. Beautiful, goes for the reset. That's the crushing blow, and that's the game 2. Super solid round. The moment that he got out of that corner, he just took control completely. And now, yeah, 1 game away. I think we might see a switch. I think it might be time that Bio tries for something else. If we see this early in the tournament, Bio, Ice Scorpion, and Tweety all in the lower bracket, I would be super surprised.
It's just where we're at in open series, a year later. It's great to see. I love looking at progression with players, but I think you're right. I think we are going to see a character change here because one of the main, I think, setbacks of this variation is it just doesn't really do much damage. It has the blender effect, and you can keep that momentum going, but right here, Bio gets clipped by something, he's taking tons of damage. He's gonna rock the same variation. This is unlike him. He must be really trying to refine this variation.
Yeah, I mean, it must be. So I very often bring this up when it's Sub-Zero, but I talk about how damage means so much in this matchup for literally any character, which is why we see stuff like the Searing Ray Scorpion coming out from Mirko very often in it, or just the slight changes that allow you to get more damage from any character. Now, it's the opposite direction here. It's like the lowest possible damage variation from Biohazard, so he just has to outmix so significantly. And the thing is, it's not like his neutral's even like better, right? He has to out-neutral and out-mix, which is very difficult. He can do it. He's a great player, but I still feel like he's fighting an uphill battle.
That is like some of the highest damage he can get. And then it is swiftly met by a down 2 crushing blow into over double the damage that he can hope to dish.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, over double is right. Almost even more than that. And now it just needs to like land one hit. I mean, the fatal blow is going to be good, right? It is a great fatal blow for Killer Croc over here. I'm going to call him. Oh, or maybe he just controls the corner. Oh, no, but no conversion!
Yo, that was the round. That's the round.
That had to have been a mistake. That had to have been a mistake, right?
I actually feel like there was a split second of hesitation, and for not wanting to lose by a percent, he spent it anyway. And I actually agree with that. If there's any doubt in your mind, it's going to leave them alive, but barely. You got to do it.
And honestly, that was such a sick way to win that round that you just want to win it. You know, you're just like, yeah, I want to win it that way. The sliding under the Blade Spark to prevent the comeback, like, yeah, you're just like, whatever. Take the crushing blow. I do enough damage anyway.
More of the tick grabs coming in. He does so much more tick grabs in this variation than when he plays Bone Picker. I really like it. You can see just exactly how much mix-ups he wants to apply with this variation. Bio now not a break, though.
Ooh, leaves it mid-screen. Maybe could have dashed under and get a little bit more of like a side switch type deal. But now, yep, another tick grab. And I think Biohazard's starting to unlock the idea of, okay, if I do a bunch of grabs right now, he's respecting them, he's waiting for the lows, he's blocking overheads and lows very well. But there is like so many layers to this mix-up game. So, gotta go to that one.
I like that, though, showing a lot of respect for the flawless blocks, so we don't amplify the mix-ups. Every time he lands one, though, it is extremely low damage. This is the whole kind of blender effect, right? You just need to keep that pressure on, because the second you get hit, even by the time you can break, you've taken more damage than your punish would do. And that's going to be a real problem that he faces so far. But the tenacity, sticking to these mix-ups.
Oh, just these tiny little hits. I mean, we've seen so many hits this round from Bio, and breaking still above. I mean, okay, just now hitting Fatal Blow live.
Oh, but no, not now, though.
Oh, why is he? Okay, he goes for that's it. That's it. Wow. Actually went for standing 3. That's a little bit less damage, but I still think this should be enough. Or at the minimum mid-chip? No,
is it
that's
just
enough.
me, or was that final sequence just the tale of how the whole set went anyway? Which is that Biohazard gets hit. Sub-Zero gets one hit, it's all over. That's just, the damage was the most prominent. And I say damage, lack of was the most prominent factor there, unfortunately, for Bio, where he got the mix-ups, but he got tagged too much to be able to essentially break even. The moment he got hit, it just led to Sub-Zero's mix-up game, which is simpler, and Breaking's been applying it for a long time. Sub's been one of his characters since Ultimate, and it just continues, you know. I'm surprised Bio stuck with the character, I really am.
I mean, the saddest part of it is that realistically, he hit him like 8 times, and all it did was bring him down to Fatal Blow life, which in turn was the reason why he died, you know? So it just all worked against him, and I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I think that Bio plays this character extremely well, and this variation extremely well is, I guess, really what I should be saying. But I just don't know if this particular variation alone has that damage that you need to be able to compete, especially against something like Sub-Zero, where you're essentially guessing against Sub-Zero and just the risk reward is always in Sub's favor. And yeah, I mean, I appreciate the idea. Maybe there's more to the character. Maybe Bio really feels that there's something else that he can be doing, but so far, I just don't see it working out. And Breaking, actually, the first time coming back in a while, is going to be our first player making it into the upper bracket finals. Very impressive. I've always been a big fan of Breaking and always sang his praises, but just going to prove why exactly that is. And now we're going to see who's going to be taking him on as we're going to get to the random select match between El Kukui and the Mighty Unjust. And oh, also on the bottom side, Ice Scorpion 3-0 and Tweety. Very impressive.
Very much so, which means that another off-stream match is going to be Biohazard versus Ice Scorpion. So the mix-ups continue. Tweety 0-2 today. It's extremely unlike him, but let's just talk about the situation, right? Like, Tweety's the kind of player that plays in so many tournaments. If he's having an off day, or if today's not his day, it is what it is. What it doesn't do is deter him from playing anyway. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see what he does in probably the next tournament he plays in a few days. I'm sure he'll do just fine. It's just the way he rolls, and we'll be seeing him again, no doubt. Now, El Kukui versus Mighty Unjust. This is going to be so sick, because it's going to be random select. The two brothers have had their gentleman agreement, and it's in writing, it's going to be it. They will random select every single match here. It's what they want to do, you know? We didn't even ask them. We didn't even tease it. We didn't be like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if you guys did this? They did it themselves, and let it now be random.
I'm so excited for it. I mean, these two, you know, especially when you get to brothers, we often see people just pick weird picks, but I think especially with these two, the fact that, you know, they play together all the time and they each play so many different characters, that this is a really fun random select match to watch. Of course, for anybody who didn't watch last month, this was exactly how the grand finals played out, where they also did the double random select thing, and here we go. We're going to see it hidden random select. They're randoming their variations as well, and we're going to start off here.
We need to get, for when this is becoming a regular occurrence, we need some kind of like royalty-free drum roll sound effect, or like one of us to do it every time we roll. Now, what's it going to be? I'll look at El Kukui, you look at Mighty Unjust.
Okay,
Shao Kahn! Shao Kahn versus Raiden. Wait a minute. Shao Kahn versus Raiden as the first hidden cursor random select. Let's go.
This is
let's go.
Oh, that is a sick-looking Raiden. Yo, what is that Raiden? I've never seen that before. That is tight-looking. And this is a weird one. Oh, it has the flying punch. It has the flying punch, and he immediately did a flying punch cancel. Are you kidding me? That's so random to be able to do that. Is that the... oh, wait, no, maybe that wasn't flying punch. Maybe that... It looked like it was, because it looked faster than the actual Superman, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misread it. Regardless, this is a lot like Raijin Raiden? Yeah. Right? I think that's the one with the charge... and the... Oh, that is the flying punch! I was right!
It's kind of there. We haven't got much time to figure it out. As the Roarers jump in. Oh my good lord. He expected Mighty Unjust to challenge, and he was correct. The jump in, the quick charge getting totally blown up by the jump in, and this has been a random select game one. Let's go. Raiden and Shao Kahn. El Kukui taking that first game. Now, Mighty Unjust, he's looking a bit uncomfortable here. I can only assume Raiden's not one of his mains. Actually, it is El Kukui that plays more Raiden from what I remember. Oh my god.
Oh, the full corner combo. Look at this. Both of these players clearly have labbed these characters.
Thanks for the buffs. Oy.
Oh. That's it. He's
dead.
It.
He's actually dead.
Look at that. All right, El Kukui. I want to see some more Shao Kahn from El Kukui in the future. Let's see some Shao Kahn. All right, okay, so question about the canon of this. Was it in one of the movies or something like that where Shao Kahn was Raiden's brother? Wasn't it?
Yes, it was Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
It was Annihilation.
It's also the same movie where Smoke fired a missile. They could have just painted him red. And Child Ketchup would have been very happy with that. Instead, Child Ketchup was very angry that Smoke fired a missile. I'll never forget it. Anyway, game one, done and dusted. As we now move, let's have a look. Drum roll, please. That's my custom drum roll.
I need I don't know. I gotta have something around here.
I can't because I'll upset my neighbors, I'm sure. Right.
They can hear that.
Jax and Devora.
Oh no! Okay, so this Jax is very much a real character for Mighty Unjust. We've known this, we've seen it before, actually defeated Tweety with it in a real tournament match before. And this is a good variation of Devora, but I don't know if I've ever seen Devora from El Kukui, so this should be pretty interesting. I mean, this is two characters we very rarely see, so I'm liking this random select.
Okay, so in theory... Oh, but wait. What's the variation? That's what I wonder. We can see the launcher, of course. I think quad grab was there too. And yeah, this is likely to be the Jax that we know.
Yeah. So it is one that we've seen from him even in tournament before. Yeah, you see there's extended strings right there that once you have the fully heated up arms, it gives you the crushing blow. There we go. That should be it. Oh no, doesn't quite get the full thing.
This is definitely going to be Mighty Unjust's game. I will be shocked if he loses this. He plays Jax a lot more than El Kukui plays Devora. So the gods did not favor him in game 1, but they favored him in game 2. Thank you, Elder Gods.
El Kukui's like trying to figure out what the buttons are.
Yeah, he clearly is trying to figure out moves on the fly. This was not good fortune.
Oh.
Devora players, help him in chat. Tell him the moves. He's struggling.
Forward 1-3 is your footsie's normal.
He's doing stand point blank. He's definitely been given a bad hand with this one. I would be surprised if he even comes close to playing Devora, really.
I think the homework for El Kukui is to learn Devora by the next broadcast. So that if this happens again, you're ready. Look at that! Cobbling into the crushing blow. Mighty Unjust. Too try hard with this character. Come on. This is supposed to be random select.
No!
Oh.
That's the wrong move! That's the wrong move! Oh god, no. Wait, Forbidden Brutal? Forbidden Brutal? Isn't that kind of hard to get?
I think so. I don't think I've ever actually seen it happen. Mighty Unjust laughing. The brutality is very impressive. Although it just looks like he's covered in paint at this point. Ugh.
I can't believe he got the Brutal. He got the Brutal. But let's... Alright, so... What happened there, folks? Our expert analysis. Clearly, El Kukui does not play Devora because he's standing there, whiffing standing one, trying to do the moves, lands the stun, and then whiffs the ovipositor strike. Like, this is the other element of random select. You can play most of the cast, but if you get that one character you just don't play, it would happen in tournament, wouldn't it? It would. Imagine if he gets Devora again. Imagine if he gets Devora again.
Let's be honest here, though. At least the time that he got Devora, the character he doesn't play at all, was the time that Mighty Unjust got, like, a tournament character. Like, it almost maybe didn't matter which character he got at that point, because maybe the Jax would have just won anyway. But here we go. Match number 3. We're one apiece. We've got Jade on El Kukui's side, and Mighty Unjust has Noob Saibot. That's not fair. That used to be the character. That used to be the character. But actually, I think they both play these characters in tournament. I think they're both ready to play them.
El Kukui does play Jade, but here's the thing. Mighty Unjust has been given Dark Sabbath. He just used the Air Sickle port. So he's actually playing one of the set variations, and it just so happens to be Dark Sabbath, which I'm very interested in, actually. Nice ender. Yeah, we still have those optimals.
Yeah, and they're ready here. I like this one. I'm glad. I feel like this is a pretty even matchup as far as things go. Like, they both got one game where they totally knew the character better than the other, and now it's a pretty even one. This literally could be a matchup that they would play in tournament, I feel.
Except for Dark Sabbath. Noob Saibot definitely.
Yeah.
There is mechanically no reason you would ever play Dark Sabbath against people now you've got customs. It's still alright, though. It's still an alright variation. You know, as long as you've got the launching teleport, it's not all bad.
I think we genuinely may have seen El Kukui play this exact variation in tournament last month. I think it's possible, or at least like within the past few months.
Gotta be careful though. That glow. Noob Saibot don't like that. He don't like that at all. Nice block! Yo, the fuzzy. We got those. Jump in kick. And this is to take the lead. Rather mutual playing field here so far, but with Dark Sabbath in particular, I would definitely say that Jade favors this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, oh, there we go, though. Maybe a few more teleports would be really good. Try to bait the breakaway with the back two. But, you know, it's one of those things where you don't have to break away until you see the jab come out rather than the back two. So I'm sure that, especially if you've played against your brother playing Noob Saibot that many times, you probably know that and you're ready for it.
Yes. Having Mustard and I ran that matchup many a time back in the day. But someone actually asked in chat why are they random selecting. They're twin brothers. That's why. That's why they're random selecting. As we now go in, the jump in, the respect being shown. No flawless block on it so far, though. I think really just allowing the jump in to be creates a situation. Ooh, KB! No breaker.
Yeah, both of them trying to bait breakaways. All right, here we go. Still again, no breakaway. Fatal blow now for both. Oh, look at that, just walking back, playing so patient. Oh, nice! That was actually a great way to punish it, but on the other side, same exact thing. Down one till his dance on wake up. Oh no, meter to make it safe. Thought it was gonna chip. Oh, that's a heartbreaker. But I guess, you know what? That's kind of what you deserve if you're gonna do down one till his dance on wake up, right?
That is typical. Misjudging the chip by one single hit, and that was enough to send El Kakoi one game down here. And again, I see people asking in chat, I'll keep updating. Their agreement that has gone down officially with admin is every game they re-roll random. Both players have agreed to it. That's just the way it is. As now, they'll be going in random for another time. Aura is a character El Kakoi does not play. We saw the same thing from Kung Lao last month. Whether he's changed that this month, I don't know. But now, the drum roll, please. I wish I could roll my R's, then I could budget one.
All right.
Robocop. A Robocop and Noob Saibot. No, Robocop, I think he could be quite good against this matchup, you know. Spirit Ball, Sickle Snag. It's going to be grounded. Robocop could definitely win this matchup.
Now, this is a really good, like, tournament variation, right, of Noob Saibot. Like, this is an actual solid one. It's got the slide, the straight projectile, and the sickle snag. So it's high damage, no matter what you do. And whoa, I've never seen this full face, like, mask for RoboCop. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's one of his, it's the full color version of, like, his Cyber Ninja costumes, basically. You know, he has the Cyrex and Sector stuff.
Yeah.
How dare you stand where they stood? Oh! Gets caught out, though. There's that 2-1-2 and the pushback in safety. Now, if we're to straight-up zoning war, Robocop's going to win this, but he does not have the buttons. Noob Saibot has buttons for days. Robocop barely has any. He does have 1100 health, though, so if he ever had the life lead, he already starts the round in good fortune.
Yeah, and this is also, I think, very clearly like a competitive setup. Oh, exactly. For that reason, we see the air charge. Air charge, low shot are very much like kind of everybody's been taking them as far as tournament Robocops go. I didn't see what his third pick is, but it is a little bit more flexible, I think. Oh, no. All right,
the only Robocop that doesn't use air charge is Foxy. He's the only one. Oh, that reaction. Yeah, that's going to be a check. It's gone for the rest of the game, but enough to win the round, which is a good start. Mighty Unjust putting himself on match point here. Yeah, the only Robocop I know of that doesn't take air charge is Foxy, because he likes the spikes. He takes that instead.
That's weird. That's so weird in my eyes, but hey,
it's because the amplified version creates that free strike throw, and then just stopping someone from being able to jump and move it's a huge part of his personal game plan. But obviously, air charge is a fantastic move, so definitely not downplaying that in any way. The corner combo. Oh, drops it though. Hang on. 1-1. Oh, he does it. That's unsafe.
Oh yeah, that was really scary. They actually made 1-2-1 safer by itself in the last batch, so they actually negated that. They made it less safe. Oh no, one more hit might be it. Yeah, that's gonna be it. The Robocop wasn't able to stand up to the double Noob Saibot. Oh, the Mercy! Just kidding.
I knew. The second he jumped back, I knew he was gonna do that. El Kakoi, this is his chance. How much Robocop he plays, I really don't know, but looking for it. I'm not seeing enough amplified low auto 9. If you just held it, you'd have gone underneath, shot him in the nuts.
He's got a fatal blow.
KB.
He's got a fatal blow. He's got to. No, you should have just done it. You should have just done it. Oh, the brutal, gross.
That's such a cool brutality. Feels so good. But unfortunately, El Kakoi, he nearly said, mercy me at your own risk, brother. But not quite. Ended up losing the set anyway. I definitely think that when it comes to the random select Elder Gods, I think they favoured Mighty Unjust today, as there was not only his opponent getting Devourer, which is clearly a character that El Kakoi does not play, but he got given Noob Saibot twice. So I think we had good fortune this day, if you are a fan of Mighty Unjust. But that was fun. It's always a treat watching them play now because of this. Like, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he got Jax and then Noob twice in a
I
row,
know,
like
the Jax as well. That's like one of his hidden characters.
yeah, 2 characters he's literally won matches with in tournaments that he's won here on the Open Series. And there were some okay picks too, right? Like El Kakoi, the only character that El Kakoi seemed super lost with was Devourer. Like the Jade was very competitively viable. The Shao Kahn was actually looking super sick. I want to see some like
really
actual
good.
picks from that. And then at the end, even the RoboCop looked like slightly practiced, just maybe not as practiced as the Noob Saibot on the other end, which makes a lot of sense. But I still think, honestly, it was a pretty good set of matches. Double Noob, maybe a little bit lucky, especially getting one Noob and then another Noob that's a better variation, right? I mean, come on. How lucky can you get?
Oh, it's so unfortunate. Like, if El Kakoi was, and this is why I think he doesn't really play Robocop, if he held down that low auto 9, he would have KB'd. You know, he would have got the crushing blow because he went underneath the Spirit Ball. But let's take a look off stream. We can now see El Kakoi has to fight Osvaldo Diaz for top 4, as does Biohazard versus Ice Scorpion, a matchup that is taking place, no doubt, as we speak. And it will be breaking and Mighty Unjust head-to-head in winners finals. They have that top 3 finish guaranteed. And we'll see how things go from this point on. Right before we go to our final break, I want to remind everybody that you can get involved in all of these tournaments yourselves. If you play Mortal Kombat, you want to take part in these, nothing's stopping you. If you are of a player that wants to get involved in PlayStation tournaments, compete.playstation.com, simple as that. Open series activity, the massively upcoming EVO Online, you want to be involved in that, I'm sure. It's all done through the compete.playstation.com website. Got tongue twisted there at the last minute. I could have got away with it, but I went and flew too close to the sun. We're going to go for one final break. When we come back, the tournament concludes. See you lovely people in a few minutes' time.
It's time to close out the North American side of the June monthly finals for the PS Tournament's Open Series. And we are down to just a few players left. Of course, I'm Wonder Chef joining Ketchup as we get to see who this month's champion will be. We just got to see a pretty fun random select match, but why don't you break us down who's left in this bracket?
Biohazard is going to be top 4. El Kakoi versus Osvaldo Diaz taking place as we speak. Our next matchup is Breaking versus Mighty Unjust for winners finals. But I do want to give a quick little update. Biohazard versus Ice Scorpion there is listed.
But yeah, very ironically, we were just talking about how Ice Scorpion was unfortunately having some internet issues, and so decided it's the honorable thing to, drop out of the bracket, play again another time. Ice Scorpion, we know they'll be back, so it's a nice thing to do, rather than have people play at an unfortunate level of ping. But also, it appears that we may be having a few issues. Hello,
Sub-Zero.
It appears that you may be.
The Hourglass.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what, y'all? Thank you all for your patience. We are gonna be potentially jumping in and out a little bit, but I think you all needed a little bit of a break from us anyway. We've been here talking all day, but here we go. We're going into our winners bracket finals here. Breaking 2 on the left, going up against Mighty Unjust. Mighty Unjust is going to be picking the Cetrion for the first time today. No more random select. But Cetrion, of course, a character that we see quite a bit from the Mighty Unjust, a more aggressive Cetrion. And on the other side, we are going to be seeing Sub-Zero rather than the Liu Kang. So clearly both of those characters still on the table quite well for breaking. But right now, nothing really working out. This has been 100% pressure coming from Mighty Unjust. Breaking needs to take this corner positioning and just run away with it. No defensive, or no, sorry, there is defensive bar, so we could see a teleport out if there's a moment. Or we could just see the kill. That works too. Wow, is that a side switch? Wow, what a perfect way to end that. That was actually super sick. Converting into the interactable from the right side and then switching it around to the left side. Really, really cool. But actually corners himself once again. I mean, having interactable there is a really nice way out. Not a lot of people have that sort of crumple opportunity where Cetrion is going to be able to get that. So I do like that corner for her. Not something I've ever thought about. Oh, the down 4, going to the back one. Of course, I mean, that's going to be high anyway, but down 4, great footsie's tool. Low profiles, even some of the best mids in the game. So now we're going to see Mighty Unjust finally going to a little bit more of a zoning game rather than the more pressure-oriented game. The teleport with the 2-on-3 punish. Tried to read the breakaway, but again, it's one of those situations we almost don't care, right? It's putting breaking such a low amount of life, even if it isn't a big breakaway bait. And now just needs like one more hit, grab or strike. It's not going to matter. Mighty Unjust taking game number 1. And again, thank you all for your patience while we get Ketchup back in here. But at least we get to watch the match. We're all chilling here. We get to see who's going to be making it into the winner's side of Grand Finals. And I'm curious if we are going to see the Sub-Zero pick again from Breaking, or if we are going to be seeing a switch to the Liu Kang. I think Sub-Zero is a pick that we see a lot against Cetrion. It just didn't seem to work out that time. But I hear, Ketchup, that you are back.
Yes, I don't want to jinx it, but I can in fact see the program.
Hey!
Yes. Welcome back. But yeah, so we got lost in the void there right as this started to happen. But again, a mini update. iScorpion was unfortunately having some tech troubles, which caused him to just struggle to connect. And for that reason, he just forfeited the tournament. These things happen sometimes. Shout outs to him for doing everything he could. And I'm sure we'll see him again. And then I disappeared for a bit. I'm back, clearly.
Yeah.
And just in time to see the first game end and come to a finish. And that's going to be Unjust with 1 game on the board.
What an ironic thing to disconnect when you're talking about somebody else's internet issues, right? I mean, that's the commentator's curse, let me tell you. That's the ultimate of the commentator's curse. But yeah, okay, so we're all back, we're all good, and we're up 1 game for the Mighty Unjust. So we'll see if this Cetrion pick continues to work out. We did see the sub picked again from Breaking. Understandable. And we are going to see a different face even on this variation. The myriad of variation faces.
The question is, can it work out though? Unjust, Cetrion coming out strong. It really is a different player. You know, you get to see every character that he picks. He's the kind of player that he's random selected in tournament before, you know, with his brother. We've seen him in FGC Arcade using all kinds of different characters at the highest level. But when the chips are down and it's time to really play, you know, money's on the line here in Open Series, he goes in with his strongest tiered characters, you know, the Cetrion and the Jackie. That's where he's at his most dangerous. He plays everyone, but he chooses to play the best. And if you're a competitive player, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Well, the interesting thing is that once upon a time, right, he actually didn't have that mindset. You know, we saw a lot of the Noob Saibot, we saw a little Liu Kang, which, I mean, obviously there's some strong characters, like Liu Kang's a great character, but...
His original main was Aaron Black.
Yeah, a lot of mid-ish tiers, right? And originally, when Jackie was at her, I would say maybe her strongest, you know, right when she got upgraded, he did not want to play Jackie. He said he didn't want to play her. He played everybody else but her. And then eventually, I think it was iScorpion that kind of convinced, convinced Mighty Unjust to switch to some of these better characters. Although this is going to be a fatal blow. This is a lot of damage with that 950 health. That might be enough, or it might just be barely short.
Ooh, 1% short. Mighty Unjust with the wake up. Yeah, you just make a hard dedication at that point, and Breaking quite rightly staying nice and patient and letting it whiff. Unjust, and he needs 1 round to be 2-0 up here, but if Breaking can get this, a nice chance to stabilize. Whiff though, eesh.
Yeah, big punish and the restand, just blocking. Oh, expecting the ground pound there maybe. This is by the overhead. I love that freeze when they're like 1 inch off the ground. It looks really weird. Oh no, what an unfortunate drop. The full slide just pushing him along and not actually getting the hit. There's another solid hit. Oh, the down to crushing blow.
God.
No defensive bar.
Yep, walk up and then just that down 2 out of nowhere. That was so, and he's actually in big trouble. I think he's dead.
Is it? Oh, almost not. Wake up, down 1. Okay, this has to be a huge read right here. I don't know what it's got to be. Oh, the zoning's starting to work. Breaking might be playing a little bit too patiently. Goes underneath the egg. Just 1 more hit and the forward 4 goes underneath. Unbelievable. Underneath the Hell's Wrath. Not what I expected to happen right there.
It kind of looked like it shouldn't have gone underneath it. I don't know whether it's just me, but the beam, it just must be more active on the bottom or something like that. I was expecting that to be a tie round. The second you see the start up of Hell's Wrath and that forward 4 coming out, I thought we were going to get a match extended. I really did. But you know what?
Me too.
1 game apiece. That was something.
Yeah, I mean, that was really weird looking. It must have, maybe it was just like 1 frame before the beam was active. Maybe the beam animation appeared, but it just didn't hit quite yet, because that really looked like they were both getting hit. But Sub kind of just like ducked underneath. He just did his like big forward 4. The big boot. That's what they used to call them all in MKX. The big boot. That's what I'm going for. But hey,
Well, over in Europe, we used to call it the big leg.
the big
It was
leg.
just the big leg. If this character had a big leg, it was some kind of advancing big kick attack that would often be plus on block. There's a big part of it. Raiden had it. Takeda had it. We had a lot of Raidens and Takedas in Europe. The big leg.
All right, well, the big leg worked out here too. You know, survives through time. Oh no,
Not quite.
Honestly, though, taking that last game was a really big deal. I mean, the first one was really dominant on the side of Mighty Unjust, so being able to kind of even things up and say, okay, you know what, I'm in this to win this too, it's nice. Wow, it tracked the slide.
We build in towards these crushing blows nice and early. Even on the life, though, I think this matchup currently going closer than I expected. And Breaking's always been able to compete here. Reversal punish as well, that slide. That one not going to get blocked.
Yeah, I think it's like a range thing, and he was just barely outside the first time, maybe. But now pretty low life. However, we know what happens when it gets to this. Oh no, you get chipped. Wow, walked right into the barrier, just barely sacked for so long. I was gonna say just needs like one more hit into a reset into the kill, but didn't even get that far.
Oh,
I
there's
like
the bait. I mean, that's some Jackie stuff, isn't it? Backing up and letting them press.
Yeah, but I mean, it also works really well in this instance, right? Just the fact that she's got such good advancing normals. It's just hard to find the moment where you really get your opponent to want to press and you have the ability to move backwards. That was a very, very good call. I like that. I haven't seen it before.
Ooh, back-to-back buttons. This is going to be an opportunity for breaking. Okay, part one. Another slide. The third one will definitely do it. Uh-oh, hang on a minute. He hasn't got defensive bar. All right, surely this is 1-2-4 now. No, it's not. We save it. Oh, yeah, of course. Breaking hasn't won the round. Can't spend all of his resources.
Yeah, and I think he knows that it doesn't matter because one more hit is going to be Fatal Blow, but he didn't find that one more hit. So I do like that resource management, right? Because if he'd done the Crushing Blow, then it would have still just been another hit. And saving that Crushing Blow is a lot more, I think, common to be able to hit rather than the Fatal Blow, because it's almost any combo. Even mid-screen, you can technically convert even off just like the jump kick backwards into the 2, into the 1-2-4. So I like the idea, but without getting the head after that, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. And so now we're up 2-1. It's weird. It's been 2 dominant games for the Mighty Unjust. And then in between them, there was one game that was really well played from Breaking, and it made it look really like even. But the other 2 so far, not so much.
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero all the way. We have seen actually in the past, like some Liu Kang players do very well in this matchup. You have to be extremely reaction heavy, obviously, and it's tricky to play, I think, optimally, because you need to be like on that next level. Your reactions need to be 150%. But it is a matchup that Liu Kang players have done well in. The question is, does Breaking feel more comfortable in that matchup? I'm going to be inclined to think the answer is no, because he's still sticking at Sub-Zero. And Sub-Zero is another character that can fight Cetrion. Actually, just so happens that Breaking does actually quite well with both of his characters, but Mighty Unjust is going to be that next level. Oh my god, we just start off with Slide.
Can't have any fear. Can't show fear. Show fear, you lose. He doesn't want to lose right here. Ooh, nice. Underneath the ice ball. That's a pretty scary one, honestly, just to be able to duck under that, because you know that if you get hit, you could lose the entire round from that one single stray ice ball. Ooh, maybe he tried the anti right there with the 2-1, but it was just a little bit too early even. Reaction's too good. Went for the 2-1 there. I wonder why, rather than standing 4. I see a lot of Sub-Zeros go for like random normals after that jump in, before the slide. And it might be to like change the timing on the amplified slide and so that people mess it up, maybe? The break? I don't know, it's weird. Here we go, not gonna be enough, but one more mix and the grab should be it? Or maybe just short, yeah, just short.
Anti-air wins, like it's MK Armageddon. But I mean, I actually think you're onto something like that though, Chef. Being able to do different jump in, it does kind of result in a slightly different timing. And if you're off by even a small amount of breakaway and it won't come out, that's one extra requirement that you desperately need. It's what Sub-Zero builds his game plan around, especially if you're willing to spend the resources. Oh, good lord, that's a hard read. Oh, no breaking has to hold it.
That's a good amount of damage so far. I mean, we haven't seen a single breakaway red, actually. But again, it doesn't even matter. And I think Breaking knows that, so he's just not breaking away. breaking, of course. All right, Fatal Blow. Just need to hit 3 full combos. No big deal. Easy.
There's the challenge, talking about breaking, using the breakaway, or not to use breakaway. Definitely gives similar vibes of when I Scorpion finally picked Scorpion. Oh! Whiff punish, that's the game. No, slow on the punish. An opportunity, that was the game over.
That'll do it instead. Yeah, I mean, it was a great, like, double backdash, honestly, to get past that entire string. But I think just playing it a little bit safer, it is kind of common to run into that string when you're trying to whiff punish it. And so just even taking the chip and just pushing that much closer to like a guaranteed win was maybe a little bit safer if you just go on the slower side rather than the faster side. Regardless, such a huge life lead. I think that was good stuff. And there was one really strong game in there from breaking, but unfortunately just wasn't able to repeat that process in any of the other 3 games. And Mighty Unjust, to really nobody's surprise, is going to make it into the winner's side of Grand Finals. And now, especially that Tweety is out and Biohazard is in the lower bracket, there are not as many threats to Mighty Unjust winning a 3rd tournament in a row as there maybe usually is.
Yeah, and it really depends on, I think, the circumstances of the rest of this tournament. If El Kakoi manages to make it all the way through into Grand Finals, are they going to random select again? Like, is Biohazard going to be able to pull it through all the way? And I haven't seen those Biohazard and Mighty Unjust go head-to-head in some time. And there's many variables here, absolutely. But our next matchup is going to be Biohazard versus El Kakoi. So let's figure out how that one's going to go first. Because Bio... Oh, that was the heartbreaker. Just seeing the beam go right through him, I've never seen that exchange before.
She has a really funny like hit stun animation when she gets forward out of the air too. It's like she got like kicked like right in like the stomach. It's like a cartoon thing when like somebody gets like, or like an anime when somebody gets hit in the like the stomach and they fly backwards. You know, I can't actually explain. It's like a Dragon Ball animation. It was pretty funny looking. But like you said, that is gonna be our next match. El Kakoi taking it 3-0 over Osvaldo Diaz. Great showing from them, but unfortunately, we're not going to see them again on this stream today. Hopefully again in the future. And El Kakoi versus Biohazard. This is another matchup that we've seen a lot. Actually, I think this was grand finals of the tournament that El Kakoi won, when El Kakoi did manage to win in the Open Series. I think that was the grand finals. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. And this is a matchup that's gone back and forth. The question is, are we going to see that Baraka again from Biohazard? Is that a commitment throughout the entire day? Was that a upper bracket only commitment? Is it just something that's we're just going to see for forever now? I don't even know. And then, of course, to counter that, who will El Kakoi choose? And I honestly have no idea on any of that.
Well, we'll find out, that's for sure. Because El Kakoi, his character pool when the chips are down really have come down to the popular top tiers. It's a mixture of Sub-Zero and Cetrion mostly. There's been a few weird picks here and there, but Bio, that's the player I'm keeping my eyes on the most right now, is what character is Bio going to play? Because, I mean, right now, with the Baraka, I'm loving that variation that he's picking so far, but it has some pretty obvious shortcomings. And the damage tends to be that. If El Kakoi uses Sub-Zero, I mean, he'd just seen Breaking defeat Bio in the same character, right? So is he going to pick Sub-Zero here, expecting the Baraka? Because it would kind of make sense to go in with that pick again.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is that El Kakoi does play, I think, the higher damage variation. Oh, well, El Kakoi does play another character that does a lot of damage, maybe even more damage than Sub-Zero, and that happens to be Jackie. So I think this truly is the idea of being able to control the game via damage, but also the fact that this isn't actually Bone Picker Baraka means that there's no spines, so good luck controlling that air. Yep. I mean, he's got a great down 2. He's got a few other anti-air options, but no spines. Even with spines, it's hard to control the air in this matchup.
And I think as well, one of the big things for me is I'm actually surprised that El Kakoi has not picked Cetrion in this matchup. Cetrion versus Baraka is not fun for Baraka. It's one of the worst matchups in the game, actually. But it has to be thinking of, the future. Do you not want to fight Cetrion versus a Kano or something? You're always thinking of that next matchup that could happen if Bio changes to a character he does better against you with. Now the mix-ups begin. I like how he throws them out just to make sure any chance of more damage on the floor not hitting Baraka right there.
Oh my gosh, jumped all the way over. And this is almost going to be enough here. I mean, is it going to be a knockdown into damage over time on the floor? Probably. Nope, just backing up. what is that risk? Unnecessary. Now you're in the corner. That's actually really scary. All right, manages to pull it off. And, you know, you were saying that Cetrion does really well against Baraka, but I mean, also, again, this Jackie variation seems like it's going to do extremely well against Baraka, too. And you don't have to worry as much about, like, maybe... I mean, Biohazard's so good as a player at getting in against zoning, right? He's had to be doing it for, like, 10 years, basically. He's been, like, a pro at doing it. So maybe if you just rush him down, he doesn't get to play at least that kind of patient game that he wants to. So I get this pick, for sure. But honestly, Okakoi just has too many characters that would do well in this matchup. Although, not showing it right now.
Okay, another full combo to open up. No breaker from Bio, holding on to that meter. With him being as flawless block heavy as he is, he needs to be. And I like that, you know, holding on to the resources, taking the combo damage, wait for the inevitable opportunity to flawless block. And that's how he won the round. I think it's not just a matter of get hit and break with someone like Bio. He's always thinking of that next play.
A little bit more zoning on both sides. We can honestly, the scariest thing is that you can challenge the grenade launchers with Blade Spark, but if you start doing too many Blade Sparks, oh, that was actually a great punish. But if you do 20 Blade Sparks, you just get hit by Leap. So realistically, the zoning game is a little bit more in control from Jackie. That's the way to get past.
Oh, that was so nearly a counter hit. But a clean opening now for Okakoi. This is a scary position for Bio, because now, waking up, potentially guess for game in this case. A short hop to take game number 1. Is it going to be this Bio, or this Baraka, sorry, all the way through?
I mean, I would be really surprised if it was, but I would also understand, I guess. You know, like I said, literally before this tournament started, like at the very beginning of the day, first talking about Biohazard, one of those players who's very much willing to test out new things in this tournament setting, right? He enters so many tournaments that he uses them as learning experiences for when he finally can settle on exactly what he wants. And I mean, he's obviously done so well with Kano in the past, like he's got that ready. Maybe he's just really going to commit, and it looks like he is. He's picked this 100% of the time, and it just hasn't looked like it's really been working out. So very interesting. It's got to be what he's going for today, right? Just to learn.
That can sometimes be a nice objective to have. You're wanting to learn this character a lot more. Sometimes, we know Bio streams a lot, makes a lot of content, and there's always a chance that like someone like Bio, his community just asks him to do a tournament using all this character or all that character. and I don't want it to sound like I'm making excuses for him. By all means, you know, he might not be. But that actually is exactly why Arn Kratos was on the FGC arcade with Noob Saibot, because it's not a character he plays, but he learned it for his community, and they asked him to enter the tournament with all Noob Saibot, and he even did it in the first of 5 and he won it. So there's definitely a real kind of audience to player connection that gets made in MK11, and characters can be a big part of that. However, that's not going to stop Okakoi from having that comfortable first game.
Not looking quite as comfortable here, but again, it almost doesn't matter how many times you get hit. Eventually, just finding one big opening can mean everything. Although that might be enough times. Yep, guaranteed chip there. And go into the low stab just for a little bit extra chip. And hey, if you don't get any openings, then it doesn't matter. I mean, that is the one way that Bio's going to be able to win this really well. Wow, baited the down two perfectly. Extremely good spacing on that. And that, again, is the downside of not actually using normal Bone Picker Baraka. You don't get the spines. You don't get to just hit her at the very top of her jump arc. You actually have to read the anti-air.
Another flawless block. Biohazard always keeping that nice and sharp. Speaking of which, ask and you shall receive, I guess. Another clean knockdown. Overhead block there from Okakoi. Always a mix-up. That leg kebab exists. You have to watch your little feet, because Baraka wants to stab it. Wait.
Ooh, getting a lot of openings this time. We're just not seeing Okakoi find a way out of this like pressure. Not guessing right at all. And what? A down 3, catching on the way up into a juggle, into a brutal. That was a really weird way to end that, but of course it just shows how much Baraka he's played, that he was ready to get that conversion. I mean, who's ready to convert off of a jump, or a down 3, catching a jump? So random.
But at the same time, that's one of the first times we've seen, in the past few series actually, Baraka, this variation having a really successful sequence of just everything works. We saw it at the start of the day, for sure, but then it kind of hasn't been working for a long time, and it's the one extreme of a grappler style character or the other. Again, I use the term grappler with Baraka very loosely. I think it's easier to make that comparison with like Terminator, as we saw earlier with Serious Hitman. But at the same time, okay, yeah, the change to Cetrion. This is not a good matchup for Baraka. I'm genuinely surprised El Kakoi did not pick it first, because it's one of the worst matchups in the game. But like I was saying, it's this whole idea of you play for that one hit, you play for the momentum, and grapplers are absolutely the kind of finest archetype of demonstrating that, and that's kind of how Bio has built Baraka. But when it doesn't work, he just can't start. He looks terrible. The character looks like it's so terrible when it doesn't work. And I think he might struggle here.
Of course, Commentator's Curse, immediately getting the knockdown, getting the full jump kick. The jump kicks will be a little bit difficult for, I think, El Kakoi to deal with. And right now, just needs to get out of pressure. Wow, just sweeps the roll forward. That could have been a crushing blow. Those rolls are very scary to do against this variation in particular. All right, here's the zoning. Here's where it begins, right? Uh-oh. Oh, wait. Maybe we're good. We're good.
I think that might have been with the two players right there, because they both stopped blocking at the same time. Hopefully that's the end of it. Oh, that trade! More damage to El Kakoi taken. Oh, this is the position. Baraka's mobility is not particularly amazing. And especially this variation. Like the second you close it, he threads the needle. Let's go. If Bio wins this matchup, I'm genuinely going to be really impressed.
I mean, so far, it's been like 90% jump kicks, right? Just, we're not seeing El Kakoi ready. Not ready to flawless block them, not ready to maybe even just block them and then just take the advantage, because they're all very high up jump kicks. And that's been just leading to so much damage. It led to the first knockdown. It led to the final hit into the fatal blow. Just got to be ready for them.
The one element of this matchup is that Baraka's not going to take like tons of damage every time he gets hit, but this variation's not going to do much damage to Cetrion in return either. So it's a really weird exchange.
Yeah, I mean,
jump in game. Not much anti-air so far. I know anti-airing Baraka's jump 3 is easier said than done, but there's so much respect now that Bio, he's just doing jump and punch.
Yeah, I mean, it's, anti-airing is a little bit of an issue in general with Cetrion, right? Unless, I was a little about to say, unless you can rely on natural barrier, her anti-airs in general aren't the best. Down 2 is probably the best thing that she's got. Her standing 1 works from pretty far away, but usually the good players aren't going to be jumping from that exact distance. So not the easiest thing, and here we go. Just needs one more maybe solid mix-up here. Nice block, but that is safe. Oh, tries to swing again. Just whiffs by just a few pixels, I would say. So El Kakoi's still in this.
We have to look at what resources have been spent. Baraka losing that fatal blow in round 1. I mean, it's naturally going to make the other rounds a little bit trickier if they are close, and El Kakoi is going to play this aggressive keep-away game. And we have to stay far away. Baraka will struggle here. If we get a life lead, the Blade Spark's only going to do so much if we can continue to trade.
Yeah, the Blade Sparks are really scary here because you're going to lose trades, and there's the threat of the teleport. Hey, speaking of the teleport. And there's a threat of honestly just ducking underneath them with vines, which you can actually kind of do on reaction. Just not from that close, obviously.
Man, that down 4 dealing with forward 2. Oh, wait a minute. Answering back with a flawless block.
Yeah, flawless blocking a forward 2 in neutral, pretty impressive. Oh, no.
He's dead. Stun. Finish it off. Now, likely going to see a character... I'd say likely going to see a character change here. Surely he would change from Baraka in the Cetrion matchup, but he's been Baraka all day. I genuinely don't know. I don't know what to make of it anymore. He should change, whether he will.
I mean, he should have changed like 3 games ago, but he didn't. So honestly, at this point, I think he's just going to go for that Baraka the whole way. I don't think there's any way we see him switch. I think he's already ran into just too many matchups that have been unfortunate. I mean, he got 3-0'd in the upper bracket by breaking, right? 3-0'd. It was pretty, I don't want to say it was free, but it was rough. Oh, come on. All right, making a liar out of me. So it looks like we might be seeing the Kano on his very last life, but he still has to deal with Cetrion. So easier said than done. And let's see if it's going to be Which variation, I guess? We could see the pull variation works very well against Cetrion. We've seen that before. Or it could be the Vegemite variation. No, it's going to be the pull. It's going to be the chemical burn. It's going to be the command grab.
That Red Eyes Black Dragon variation is the kind of current best Kano variation, best quote unquote, the one that everyone's using. It's all about that set play, and Cetrion, it is going to be a complete difference in damage because when Kano gets that offense locked in against her, it's Kano time. You know what I mean? Plus frames as well. The immediate flawless block on the inevitable pokes, that's a good call out, but just like that, El Kakoi, the break has already been used, and tries so hard to stop the damage over time. A lot of players that know the matchup, they walk forward to try and get hit by the lighter, but didn't manage to get it then.
Ooh, yeah, and just took so much damage for its troubles. I mean, look at that. Kano not known as a really high damage character, but it's the damage in the corner that means everything. And here we go, a very quick, I want to say first game of the tournament from Biohazard. It feels like finally we're getting to see Bio and not Killer Croc Bio.
Uh-oh, another confirm. And no break if El Kakoi's in big trouble. And again, tries really hard to shut down that set play, but just look at the damage.
It is at least beneficial to dash into the fire and get hit by the fire because it means that you lose the acid on you and you won't get pushed into the fire for another combo if he does manage to get another good read. It just kind of gives him that free mix-up that he's going to get anyway. So I like it by El Kakoi, definitely understanding the matchup. Just not getting the right reads in it.
More damage.
Still can find like one big conversion and a fatal blow could make this happen. Or not. Game 5.
Or not.
Or
yeah,
not.
Game 5. The Kano's going to allow for that. Now, the chances of seeing Cetrion again, I think, is quite low. Kano's been quite a popular... Those that have, like, a pocket Kano with this variation, they tend to use it against Cetrion a lot. You've got the mobility of Kano, which is weird because he's got a floaty jump, yeah, but the Kano ball is that always existing layer of unpredictability, but it's the set play. It's the forward one, and it's the chemical burn. That really is what it comes down to. The extra layers of mix is great as well, but it's just being able to stop Cetrion from just doing what she wants when she wants, which she's so used to doing. But I think El Kakoi, is it Jackie now? Sub-Zero, maybe? I don't think he's going to go Cetrion again.
I think Jackie's a great pick, right? We've seen this before. When Jackie is airborne, you don't get the convergence that you really want off the biomagnetic pull. Okay, it looks like we're going to see the Sub-Zero, but, I still think that Jackie could have been a good pick. Oh, well, we could see either one. Sub-Zero also, Sub-Zero, like I said, I don't know if Sub-Zero technically has any really, truly bad matchups, which definitely sounds like I'm upplaying him, but it's just the fact that he can literally win in any matchup from any situation. He just has that ability. He's got all the tools, and we are going to see the sub. I didn't see which variation it was. I think maybe it was the one with the... this is the older variation. Deep Freeze and the Creeping Ice. We're not going to see the Rising Ice this time.
I like that choice against Kano. Just being able to confirm anything into ice is going to be really important here. Kano can be quite a slippery character, so any opportunity to get deep freeze when a regular freeze wouldn't work, I think is going to be quite important. And hang on a minute. We're already starting things off really well. Ooh, bit of a fumble there from El Kakoi, though. I don't know what happened there. Oh, never mind. We're back in it.
Yeah, just an extended reset, You knew he'd land the low again eventually. Just like 2 block streams later. Oh,
Ooh.
Weird tick throw. I like it.
And that standing 2, I think, was definitely meant to be a flawless block. The mix.
Yep, immediately using the deep freeze, and now just backing up. Interesting. Oh,
Oh, my lord. He has no meter, Bio. Almost had it, and he's going to get it this time. 1-1 overhead, but we haven't got the extender. Oh, the plus.
Plus and a plus and a plus.
Oh, my lord.
Oh, no. Is there going to be another? Oh, he tried, and now he's dead.
No, he's greedy. He's greedy.
No, he was greedy. And you know what? Honestly, if he had done the amplify, the amplify might have killed through the breakaway. It does just like barely any damage, I think, but it's just an interesting thing to think about. But yeah, that means match point now for Biohazard. El Kakoi could have just spent it out and didn't. That's rough. That's super rough. Still has a chance, though. That was his round to win, basically. His round to lose.
Now, what's it going to be? trying to create that distance. You can see just how desperately El Kakoi is trying to avoid the corner. Even with this break. No break.
Wow. Yeah, maybe he was expecting it right there. That's why he didn't go for the full thing. But just patience. Patience from Bio. Ooh, no full conversion. Weird choice right there.
Reversal. Uh-oh, fatal blow.
That might have honestly been a slide punish even after that. That's pretty bad on recovery. It's actually terrible on recovery.
No.
Oh, that's it.
That's a really, really unfortunate drop there from El Kakoi. There is no way that's what he wanted.
Yeah, just got a few really unlucky situations. El Kakoi now going down, but I mean, the fact that he didn't get the win on that round previous and then some drops this round, I mean, just kind of all the way through. He might have just been maybe out of gas, maybe just was switching around too many characters, wasn't ready for the Sub-Zero pick. But Kano finally coming out. Finally, we see we switch from a very fun, I would say, low-tier variation to one of the top-tier variations in the game, I would also say. And that means that Bio finally is trying his hardest in this tournament.
A run back is in his future, as Breaking is currently lying in wait at losers finals. Now means Bio's going to fight Breaking again. Good chance, perhaps, that he's going to go Kano in this matchup. Just with how today's gone, the Baraka has looked good, but especially seeing as he just beat El Kakoi Sub-Zero with the Kano change. Considering this is top 3, and he probably wants to get Grand Finals, it would make the most sense for him to pick Kano here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the question is he going to pick Kano immediately? I think we're going to see Kano at some point, right? But is he going to pick Kano immediately, or will he first pick that Baraka, and then once he's down 2 games, switch to Kano? Well, I'm not necessarily he'll be down 2 games, but once he's, if he's down to his final chance, he'll switch to Kano, like we saw in this set. I think it's going to be one of those 2. I'm pretty confident in it. The question is just which one. Breaking did, I would say, pretty severely dominate him in the previous set. So I would like to see the Kano straight up, You made it this far, you get a good showing with that variation, we can see its issues, there's some stuff to work on with it. Just go all out at this point, Just go all out, try to win the tournament.
But taking a look at the journey so far, a narrow victory there for Bio. But the chance at redemption. Breaking was able to defeat Bio in the winner's bracket earlier today. But again, like I said, I think it's going to come down to character here. Bio's best chance today, in theory, is going to be picking that Kano against the Sub-Zero. Because surely here Breaking picks Sub-Zero again. And a nice top 3 it's been. Our journey was 4 players of this bracket were part of the Mexican scene. And unfortunately, again, to remind everyone looking at that bracket, Ice Scorpion was having some internet troubles, so he forfeited the tournament because it basically just couldn't connect the players. And he chose to bow out because of it. So, shout outs to Ice Scorpion for getting as far as he did. Sorry to hear that you had some tech issues. Hopefully, we see you next time. It's all good to go, because it's always a treat watching Ice Scorpion play. But it looks like the people favor Biohazard, even though this is a run back, right? They thought it was 3-0. But the people still favor Bio 78%.
See, we need to alter the poll, right? It needs to be the first option is Breaking, the second option is Biohazard playing Baraka, and the third option is Biohazard playing Kano. That's the question, right? Which of those is going to win? We're starting off again. He's doing it. All right, I think everybody in chat might be trying to take their votes back right now, but maybe they think that even if he goes down 2 games, the Kano's strong enough to pull it out in the end, which is very much possible. I mean, we literally just saw it, so all right, let's see if he can. Honestly, I mean, I think he can absolutely win games with his Baraka variation. This isn't free, but if he wins any, it'll give him a huge advantage to when he gets to that final moment with potentially Kano.
I'm very surprised he's done it. Like, I'm not one to say that Bio's making a mistake here. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But, and this is a big but, I'm really surprised that he's doing it. Like, he clearly just believes in the pick,
Mm-hmm.
But in this instance, especially with how he just defeated Sub-Zero with Kano when the Baraka wasn't working, it is borderline stubborn, actually, to stick with Baraka.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be some story that we don't understand behind this,
I'm
right?
sure.
Like,
I'm absolutely sure.
Yeah, I love your idea of, like, maybe it was his chat. Maybe he just promised to do it up until he absolutely has to switch to Kano. or something along those lines, right? Maybe just like maybe trying to make a video just to show this off, you know, something for his own enjoyment. And he is in so many of these top 8s that it's not a huge surprise. However, it's starting to look a lot. Well, that was a weird ender, but it's starting to look a lot like the previous games here. And chip. And oh no, flawless blocked it. He actually flawless blocked it to stay alive. Very impressive.
It's very, very Biohazard to flawless block that creeping ice. I think he's one of the more consistent players I've seen do it. And now 1 round for breaking, but his back's in the corner. This is Baraka's best chance to keep going.
1 hit. Let's count the openings, right? 2 openings. 3 openings. All right, 3 openings. And now 1 opening from Sub-Zero. And it's not quite even, but almost. All right, 4 openings.
Oh, there's the back one.
All right, 4-2. I'm just gonna count this. We're gonna do the math, right? Let's figure out this variation alongside. All right, 5 openings.
Wow, interruption.
Ooh. All right, so 6 openings was just about enough for the kill, right? And I think it would have been about 3 for Sub-Zero. So I'd say it is about double damage, right? It is about half the damage.
It's like I said, depends on whether you're a glass half full or half empty kind of person. Now Biohazard, piece by piece, he has to play that patient game, right? The careful game until we lock it in. And I'm loving that. That will completely mess you up if you're trying to flawless block the string.
Yeah, that one, I mean, that one is a huge damage. I mean, look at that. That's just about, that into a command grab was like half life. So landing those crushing blows is really going to be, I think, where Bio gets a lot of his damage. The problem is, I don't think he's really been fishing for them as much as maybe he could. The 1-2-2 crushing blow, another huge one, right? A big one for Baraka. The fact that it launches, it gives you at least some more guaranteed damage, but we haven't seen it at all. And you know what? That's going to be it. Chip from Chop, the Chop, the Chip, Chip. I don't know. The Chip, Chop. There we go. That's what I was going for. And honestly, looking pretty good this time around, right? Has to open up the opponent a lot, but if he does it, it works.
When they fought in winners, it was the severe difference in damage that was the problem, and a lot of that was because Biohazard was kind of just getting clipped by stuff. He was getting hit by a lot of back ones, and not necessarily slides, if I remember, but it was just... He would land hits, but then in trying to find the hit, got hit himself. That sounds hilariously like one-dimensional analysis, but it's what happened. And in that game, it was more assertive, more in control of it, which you kind of need to be playing this kind of character. So I am glad to see Bio kind of sticking true to that game plan, getting that first game. More to go, obviously. And this could just be this is the sub-boss. To be able to make it into Grand Finals against Mighty Unjust, it's a different story.
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, like the fact that he landed every single mix-up, so impressive. And it's the way that he's been able to mix things up throughout the whole day, right? Like you gotta remember that all these mix-ups, well, maybe not the low, but all the other mix-ups are punishable on block. So just 1 hit and you could be taking so much damage. But, you know, if you land 6 mix-ups in a row without ever choosing the wrong one, well, then first of all, your name is Biohazard, and second of all, it makes characters look good. It makes it more scary than almost maybe it actually is. Oh, no conversion. A few times now we've seen like people converting into creeping ice rather than actually going for the full ice ball, which is weird in this set and the previous set.
I like the use of down 4. It's going to be so important in this matchup. Yeah, Baraka's 4-2 is a good button, but if you have that really nice low profiling down 4, it's kind of crucial for stopping Baraka being as much of a bully. Obviously, he has a good down 4 of his own, though.
Back in the corner. Oh my gosh, that back 2 was absolutely maximum range. Call it like the end of the down 4. Oh, look at this. Mix-ups into mix-ups. And just a normal grab. Tend to forget about that. All right, this is looking way, way better than the upper bracket, no, not upper bracket finals, sorry, upper semifinals. The first time that these two played. And it honestly doesn't even seem like Bio changed all that much. He's just guessing correctly on all of the mix-ups. Or I guess I should say conditioning correctly.
Oh, wow. A straight-up jump-in trade and a reckless slide. Another raw jump-in, a jump kick. He's got so much respect enforced from his jumping game. Breaking's not even trying to anti-air at all. And it's allowing Bio to really mix up what button he's even jumping in with. Oh, there's that forward 2 though.
All right, so I think he's set up for the crushing blow, or maybe he's one away. I believe, though, he's set up. Just needs to actually land a big hit. Will he cash on it now? Yes. Yes is the answer. So now, still needs just a little bit of chip, which is really scary, especially since Bio has proven that he will flawless block the creeping ice. Oh, I like the attempt. I like the attempt, right? There was something there. And there really was not going to be any easy way of making that comeback. So just throw it out. If it hits, you win the set. If it doesn't, you're okay. That's just life.
Another raw jump, and this is what I'm talking about, right? It's just the respect of breaking to the point where Bio is now mixing up whatever button he wants to jump in with. Oh, the tick grab on hit gets punished. That is the bane of all grapplers.
Right, just going for a normal slide this time. Oh, didn't even have any meters, so of course it had to be normal slide. So you can see already he's taking that life lead back. Oh boy.
Not if it's mixed.
Luckily that's not one of the strings I think that you get the crushing blow off of.
Yeah, there needs to be a situation where you kind of shouldn't be blocking low, but you're blocking high or something. I think probably the other way around, actually. And I think that's back 3 into it. Oh, that's the one. That's what he was looking for.
Yeah, that's what he tried before. But yeah, it has to be a string with a large enough gap in it that you can actually, like, flawless block the overhead is what I would say. And that's going to be that 2-0 right now. Like I said, Bio just playing this so much better. Might not need to switch to the Kano, proving us all wrong. Oops. But yeah, I'm liking it a lot. So what I was saying is that crushing blow only happens, for example, like off the 4-2-1-2 string, because the gap before the overhead is so huge that it lets them leave block stun and then re-enter it. You know, that's actually one of the conditions of the crushing blows. It says they cannot be in block stun. The other one that it works off of is, I don't think it's back 3-1. I think that one's not doable. I'm trying to remember what it was. I don't think 1-2 either. I think that one keeps them in block stun. I don't know. I'm going to need somebody out there to remind me because I actually forget. But we are
I
going
know
to see
that when it comes to the leg kebab crushing blow, it's often considered like back 3 into KB is often considered like the back 3 low minion of this game. Like that kind of infamous Inferno Scorpion thing of back 3 low minion, which really has no right hitting someone as a mix-up, because there's that hit they can block first, and then you stand up in reaction to the final one. That works the exact same way in this game. It's just that in this game, when it hits, it crushing blows, which is really funny when you see it work. It's kind of the forbidden tech.
The forbidden tech, that's true, but it's not really something we've seen kind of going on a lot for Bio. He's just been going for mostly just 4-2-1, right? I mean, so much usage of the string. Those buttons on his controller are gonna be broken. Actually, I think he uses a stick.
Oh, here we go. Nice little knockdown again. Wake up down 4. I think there's a lot of fear on Baraka. Oh, there's a lot of fear on Baraka's forward 2 now. For good reason. But that is going to be a match point here for Bio.
Round 2.
Yeah, I guess actually a great way to explain it would be anytime that you could tick throws when you can get the crushing throw. There we go. So back 3, standing 1 technically. Yeah, like a lot of these things, 4-2-1. Oh, wow, jumps with the instant jump 2, I think that is. That just reaches so far to the ground. Incredible jump normal, as always. Back in the corner. Another big advantage of this variation, you can side switch a lot of pretty much any single confirm.
Again, that's as big as his punish is going to get ready, 20%. Better than nothing, but again, the plus frames and the mix-ups continue. Breaking's last chance. There's that flawless block. That's, I think, what he was looking for in the last set.
Yeah, yep.
Wow. Knockdown. Oh, he's dead! Just like that, Biohazard makes a full run back, and in dominant fashion. I think it's a good thing that he was able to keep the character. I did honestly doubt it so much because of just how much it didn't work when they played earlier. I'm glad he stuck to it.
Well, not just in that set, right? Like, the the 5 previous games that we saw before this set from Biohazard were loss with Baraka, 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 and then wins with Kano, right? So that was literally the last 5 matches that we saw with Baraka. So I also just assumed that it was like, okay, if you go Baraka again, you're going to lose. You've already lost this person. You've lost the last 5 games with Baraka. Your Kano's looking sick as usual. But, you know, Bio proving us wrong, and I love seeing that. That's a really good way to run that back, especially, I mean, from getting 3-0 to 3-0ing yourself, that is a gigantic statement. And that's the type of statement that earns you a place in the grand finals. And Biohazard actually hasn't won a week in, I want to say, I mean, or won a monthly in, like, months, right? It's been a really, really long time. Hasn't won any sort of Open Series bracket, so it'd be nice to see Bio potentially win again, but has a pretty tough path ahead of him, trying to deal with the Mighty Unjust, who's got that upper bracket advantage.
But it's a matchup that definitely has historically favored Mighty Unjust. Now, it's hard to doubt Bio. I think I doubted Bio today more than I often do, purely because like it was such a strange circumstance to pick this one character and it just didn't work more than it did. However, no one knows Biohazard's characters better than he does, you know? So it always kind of comes down into it's hard to doubt him, and I guess he just proved why. However, now this is going to be a different beast still, because you're going up against Mighty Unjust, someone that has historically done really well against you, although let's not forget, there was actually a time where Biohazard was one of the only players to ever double eliminate Mighty Unjust from Open Series. Like, they've actually gone mad back and forth.
Yeah, honestly, this still could go either direction. I mean, we just have to ask it, right? It feels like this is all we've been talking about, because it's so weird. Will we see the Baraka again? I don't think that the Baraka pick will work out as well as it did last game. Despite the fact that he's clearly proven that he can you know, like improve with the character over just the course of one day, it's the Mighty Unjust. And with Bio's best of the best, the Mighty Unjust is still one of the hardest matchups that he faces on a regular basis here in the Open Series. And unless, you know, maybe we see a weird pick from Mighty Unjust, who is also fond of going some, you know, some unusual, interesting picks, I think that this is time to, like, really just go in, you know, just try your best. Poll results are going to Bio. That's pretty impressive, pretty surprising. A lot of Bio fans out there. They do. It's true. It doesn't matter who he's up against. Everybody loves Bio. It's
because he's a people's champ. I think the character makes a big difference. I think sticking to his own game plan. He's an extremely individual player, independent even, where he picks the character. And like now, picking Baraka now, is it the same variation? There must be something going on where he's like, I'm doing it with all Baraka. You know what I mean? We changed to Kano once when it was either you go with your best or you're out of the tournament. That one Kano pick has obviously allowed him to pick Baraka for a lot longer. There's got to be some lore here that we're missing. Like, I feel like he's told someone or some people that this is like the Baraka tournament for him.
Yeah, like he's been dared or something like that. But, you know, honestly, I guess it's worked out pretty well. I mean, despite the fact that he had to switch to Kano that one single time, he has managed to make it to the grand finals here of a monthly final with this Baraka. But now, we'll see exactly how difficult this matchup probably can be. Especially, I was talking about this earlier, so much damage against literally one of the, I would say, the highest practical damage character against one of the lowest practical damage characters in the entire game. But as I say that, Bio just taking a huge life lead.
Oh wow, back to back into the button press. Now, if I recall, we talked about this on the FGC Arcade. The Unjust has won 39 streamed Open Series tournaments. Now, that would mean that if he wins this tournament, this would be his 40th win on stream.
Wow,
tournament
that
win.
is...
Tournament.
Yeah, that is a lot of them. But right now, I mean, Bio doesn't want that. Bio says, no, you're going to stay at 39. My turn. But yeah, I mean, that's more dominant than almost any player that I can remember has been in a single league, right? And it's been so sick that the Open Series has been running for this long now that there is a chance for somebody to have won 40 different tournaments.
Bio, he's given it more than his A game right now, though. Looking nice and competitive. You look at Baraka versus Jackie, you normally think of Spine Burst, right? But Biohazard's doing business without it.
Yeah, this right now is looking honestly dominant in the opposite way that I thought it was going to be dominant. Ooh, Flossbox last hit. Doesn't get much off of it. Okay, here we go. First opportunity to actually launch some pressure. And goes for the crushing blow immediately. Oh, gets over.
No.
That almost is it. I think he might survive. I think he might. This is Jackie. That was a little bit more health than you want them to be at. But this might be damage over time, guaranteed kill anyway. Has to avoid chip himself, though. Oh, yeah, this is tough. This is so scary for both sides. Oh, he can't move forward. Oh, no.
That was smart. That was smart. Use the leap
extremely
before Bio has a chance to go for amplified Spine Burst. Not Spine Burst, sorry. Blade Spark.
Is that a Rampage cab back there?
I think so.
I've never noticed that before, somehow, until this exact moment.
Yeah, there's all kinds of little Easter eggs. There's a grid machine as well. Primal Rage.
Ooh. Oh, nice air to air. That jump too, extremely good air to air. Not easy to catch her out of the air because her own reach is so long. Oh, there's the grab. Look at how quickly this damage equaled up. Good patience, but I mean, just takes a few openings. And now any single opening is going to be the end of Bio. Oh, put him in a fatal blow range right there. That actually could be a huge mistake.
Oh my god.
Oh, on wake up, and it caught the Mighty Unjust on the way up from just a jump. And Biohazard taking game number 1. What a way to do it. No fear. I mean, I guess at this point, if you're playing this high-risk, low-reward mix-up character, you can have fear.
But a lot more of that if he's going to be able to reset the bracket and then maybe even eventually win the tournament. So I would, yeah, this would be such a weird turn of events if like grapple mix-up Baraka almost exclusively wins the Open Series. Like, Bio's a god. If he can do this, he's a god. Come on.
I mean, he's already a god for being able to get this far and now win the first match of Grand Finals, right? I mean,
I agree.
Oh, yeah, we can't take this much of an achievement away from him. But, I mean, he can ascend even further beyond that if he manages to continue winning. And it looks like Unjust is going to stick with the Jackie. Also, similar story to El Kakui, has that Cetrion available, but I feel like Mighty Unjust is a lot less of a zoning Cetrion, so I'm not sure that his Cetrion in particular will do exactly what you want to do against this level of Baraka. Like, if you have like an Acid Matza Cetrion, I feel like that's just going to shut down Baraka 100%. But when you're kind of in his face, it gives him the opportunity to like command grab you to turn things around.
Absolutely. It's not fully Mighty Unjust style, and Mighty Unjust still does play that kind of footsie game, but that forward too, yo, it's just such a magic button in this variation.
Oh, spinning both bars. Oh no, sorry, that was just one for the first one. He just got another opening. Oh no, he did spin bar. I'm looking at the other side. Oops. Oh, weird.
On the side. Oh my, your Biohazard is on something else today. Look at this Baraka.
Yeah, I really don't know what to say. I mean, we've seen so much of this Baraka today, and it's just either the mix-ups work or the mix-ups don't work. And right now they're working. Like, Bio is just getting better at this character as the day goes on, which I didn't expect. Oh,
It's gonna be
no.
like, oh, I was about to say, I feel like it really is his like most practiced character at the time. Like, it just has to be. Rocking it all the way. Oh my, even more of it. The mix-up good block there from Mighty Unjust.
Quick breakaway. Now no defensive bar. Can just mix the corner until death. Oh no, the standing one going backwards. Super unfortunate. So far, it does seem like a huge majority of the damage that's being dealt to him, not only in this match, but in a lot of other matches, are people jumping over him. You know, making the forward 2-1 with, just getting that full combo punish. It leads to a lot, and almost everything that he tries to do can be jumped. Like that.
Oh
Hey!
god, I was about to say, speaking of jumping, just landing the cleanest of jumps right there.
Yeah, I think finding the time to jump at that maximum forward 2 range, well, that's going to be that game, but I think that's going to be a really important aspect to being able to kind of adapt to this version of this character, because the forward 2, he's just so dependent on it. Without the forward 2, he doesn't get the mix-ups that he wants. And I think that Mighty Unjust might be starting to recognize that, as it looked like that was a considerably better game than the previous one.
Kind of goes back to what we talk about the double elimination grand finals, though, right? Biohazard being on the loser side means that he has to win this 3 out of 5 just to bring us to a halfway point. Unjust taking that one game means that he's got already way less work to do. 2 more of those and we're in business. Tournament's over.
Yeah, and also Bio has had to fight really tough matches all the way through the lower bracket, so there's only a limited amount of stamina, especially when you're playing a character that constantly has to make reads, right? Like, he's constantly making conscious decisions, like 8 times, 10 times a round, when a lot of other characters only have to make, like, maybe, you know, like 4, like, really intense decisions, and if they make them all correctly, then they'll win. But he has to make, like, 10 all correct in a bunch of game 5s, in a bunch of matchups against tough opponents, so he could be getting burned out, or maybe he's just too good at mix-ups and it doesn't take him any brain power anymore.
I mean, they perfectly predicted the wake-up roll.
Ooh, just backing up, faking, trying to bait a leap for sure right there, trying to fake the animation of the Blade Spark, and probably try to get it down too, maybe an air-to-air. The air-to-air seemed like it worked really well, we just haven't seen an opportunity to try it again. Oh, that was so low, and yeah, now damage over time. Oh, the crushing blow, that's a great way to deal with it. Oh, it whiffed. Wait, why did it whiff? He didn't break away. Did he break away?
Yeah, he did.
He did.
That's what I was talking about earlier today, when, like, if you break away as early as you can, it's tight, but if you break straight away, the fatal blow will whiff.
Yeah, it looked like it was so fast, it looked like he didn't break away. It looked like he just fell, and that's why I was so confused, but clearly that's exactly what you were talking about. So it's nice to see exactly the opposite situation that we saw earlier. Ooh, and Mighty Unjust kind of playing a little bit more of the defensive game this time, even though he's got way less life. Again, jump 3.
It's such an amazing move for option select off jump in.
All right, this is still really scary. Fatal blow. And now this grab means I think any one conversion is death at this point. There we go. That's going to be it. That is game number 3 going to the Mighty Unjust. It's always like funny and a little bit painful when I say, oh, one more hit's going to be it. And then I see the normal connect and I'm like, oh, I said it. And it happened, for better or worse. Definitely better for Mighty Unjust. A little bit worse for Bio, I'd say. So now, do we see the Kano or does he just commit?
It's do or die, really, isn't it? This is the whole thing. If it was winner's side, then you could go, oh, maybe we'll pick Baraka again, and if it resets, then maybe we can change character. It's the complete opposite of that right now. Mm-hmm. The time for it is gone. So if he doesn't now, then it could absolutely be now or never.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's been doing, again, much better over time with the character. I don't know if... Oh, well, it looks like that's our answer. It looks like he's just confident. He's going in. And, I mean, he's been doing pretty well. He honestly has been doing pretty well. I think maybe a few games ago, I would have said, like, yeah, he should just go Kano. This is silly. But at this point, it's like, okay, he stands a chance. For sure, he stands a chance. He's fighting an uphill battle, but he's not like, oh, yeah, he just can't do it. You know, he's just going to have to guess right a lot more than he's going to have to guess wrong, which can be pretty tough. But here we go, locking into it for the rest of at least this pre-reset set. Of course, if he resets the bracket, he can immediately switch to a different character. At this point, I don't even think he would. But just one more game, and Mighty Unjust is going to win 3 months in a row.
And with a solid life lead, that's where the ranged benefit of that grenade launcher can start to show itself, I think. Staying in the air. Ooh. Trading out just a little bit of extra percent right there.
Oh, and here we go in the corner. Nice tech. Oh, tries to down 3 underneath, but that forward 2 range is just so incredible. One of the best normals, honestly. I mean, you can punish things that most of the characters can't punish because it's such a far 8-frame normal.
He's done a good job of stabilizing. As long as those projectiles hit as well, it doesn't create the damage on the floor. I mean, you very much would rather block the plasma than have it whiff.
You know, what a weird thing to say, right?
I know,
That's like
right?
one of the very first projectiles in a fighting game that you could say that about. All right, but now Fatal Blow. So this is one hit away for either person, and there it is again. There it is again. I'm telling you, it's a good feeling, but it's also extremely painful. That you just know, you know that as soon as these players see those opportunities, that is exactly what they're going for. And so Bio, a great conversion from that flawless block. He also hasn't been flawless blocking as much today, but he's more and more as time is going on, flawless blocking more.
Bit of a mismanagement there from Mighty Unjust at the end. I think he definitely could have won the round if he did the 4-4 crushing blow. Because the punish was just meager. He had bar, he chose not to use grease kick or anything like that. There was no damage on that punish, and I truly think he could have had the round on that. And Bio with a super duper clutch punish. Hang on a minute, we could even have a reset. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh yeah. Oh, another hit. Just mixing it up so well. Oh no, though. Uh-oh, this is so scary. No, didn't have the meter to get any more than that. Just had the chance to get like a small mix-up, and now still though has Fatal Blow, which means again one hit away from a confirm, but not gonna find it. Biohazard is gonna tie it up 2-2. Didn't happen that time, and now we're down to one final game, pre-reset or pre-tournament win. Now we do have the Setron available. We could see the Setron, we could see the Sub-Zero. That worked out well before, or we could just see the commitment. I mean, the one big thing about Jackie is that she does have less life, right? Oh, also same with Setron. So you are technically, if you're not ever getting out of that corner, you're essentially giving Baraka more damage in this matchup. That's assuming that you guess wrong like 100% of the time, which has been happening. So maybe going to like a higher health character could be a little bit nice. No, not going to go to a higher health character, going to go to the zoner.
And it makes sense. The reason this is definitely the best time to go to this character is because with it now being just one game that Mighty Unjust needs to win, there's no way Biohazard can lose this game and then change character. So of all the characters you play Baraka's hardest matchup without question. You're gonna pick it right now. The second that game went over, I was like, he's gonna go Setron. It's immediately there. You know it's gonna happen. And able to do so. Either reset or tournament win.
Well, it's all down to this. And I do have to say again that Bio has completely shifted my perspective on how well he's doing with this variation. It's just got better over time. Slowly getting pushed to the corner. I think a lot of this matchup is going to be Mighty Unjust trying to gain backspace, right? And one way to do that is to teleport. You know, it's one of the big reasons why Setron's so good as a zoner. But finding the moment to teleport out, not super easy, especially when there is the opportunity to maybe command grab backwards. Just kidding. Super easy. Super easy for the Mighty Unjust.
Lets the whole thing go, and we play that ranged game again. This is a complete counter pick. Absolutely. It makes sense. Like, this is a competitive setting, folks. Don't forget, if you win this tournament in first place, $400. Not a bad thing for a day of Mortal Kombat. And if you play an opponent's hardest matchup, it makes perfect sense to pick it. And this is going to be difficult for Biohazard to get a win. If he can get a win, though, all my days. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, you know, it's possible. It worked against El Kukui. The problem is you just need to find that first major opening to be able to push your opponent to the corner, right? And so far, that's not really what we're... Well, just kidding. So far, we see it. Just needs to now guess right.
Just for the record, I would love nothing more than for Bio to win this, because I love a kind of underdog story, especially when it's a really hard matchup. But this is one of the worst matchups in the game.
Yeah, it's got to be a forward 4-4 fish here, maybe. Or just a more raw fatal blow. At this point, can't armor through anything. The 4-4-4 was it. It tries to bait the breakaway. No, didn't bait the break. There's nothing there. Should have just gone for the fatal blow. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe could have at least gone for command grab to try to get some Oki. Super unfortunate, but that's how it plays out. Actually found his moment. I'm surprised that in the end it came down to what I assume was an execution error, because finding that moment for the comeback was huge, and then just got nothing out of it. So congratulations to the Mighty Unjust, now with the three-peat of monthly finals. But Biohazard really, again, I'd say proving us wrong as far as that variation. And I don't even know if it's necessarily proving us wrong, but proving that he can win with that variation is really what it is. All you got to do is just guess right 100 times in a row, and you can make it work. And who else can do that but Bio? So that's a very impressive showing, I think. Making it all the way through the lower bracket, making it all the way to the grand finals, being one game away from being able to reset, but just couldn't quite overcome the Cetron matchup. And even, in fact, almost did.
It was going to be difficult at the end. Yeah, it's the kind of weakness you play as a Baraka player. You're going to inevitably find those bad matchups, and the reality is, as long as that final match was a character pick for Mighty Unjust because of just how the games went, he had the final counter pick, and that final match was what it's all about. You play a Cetrion, you're up against someone who is now stuck with Baraka. Not only Baraka, but a Baraka that doesn't do any damage because the variation does not do damage at all. It was like, that's a difficult exchange. I said all the way through that matchup that it is one of the hardest matchups in the game, and it is for a reason. The moment Mighty Unjust picked that, it was pretty much over at character select, it felt. But the fact that Bio made it as close as he did, gotta give him his huge props. It's why he's such a fan favorite. It's why I don't think anyone understands his characters better than he does, especially with the variations that he goes in with. But Mighty Unjust is going to be the champion of the day, getting himself a monthly final victory here. Biohazard, shoutouts always for getting grand finals. Love to see him do well, and he's always been one of my favorite players, and I have no doubt we'll be seeing him again. But this isn't where Mortal Kombat ends, folks. If you want to play in more tournaments, you want to get involved in more games in the Open Series, compete.playstation.com. As you can see here, we have Guilty Gear Strive, Black Ops Cold War, and Soul Calibur coming up with their monthly finals as well. So keep your eye out for that one. Mortal Kombat will continue, and it's not just Open Series. We've got Evo Online. We've had just now the FGC Arcade, which was some exhibition matches a few days ago for EU and North America. That was a great time as well. And I think, Chef, it's been a fun day.
It has. I mean, this was a really interesting story of mostly Biohazard and NA, but Europe, I still think, was one of my favorite tournaments that we've ever seen in the Open Series. If any of you didn't get a chance to watch that, you definitely should. Extremely good matches, but we saw a lot of fun stuff here today too, right? We saw the random select match. We saw some really nice matches with some weird variations. We saw a lot of, representation from the Mexican players. All together, yeah, I'd say definitely a great day.
And I think Bio was asked why he played so much Baraka. His answer was, I like his mix. We like watching the mix. Biohazard. But folks, that is all we have time for today. It's been a fun day, full of Mortal Kombat, and like I said, stay tuned for the following monthly finals that are coming, and you can see Mortal Kombat has its monthly finals next month as well, so that's going to be fantastic with the Monday qualifiers every week taking place. Same place and same time on compete.playstation.com. However, we're going to wrap things up for now. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Whether you've been here for just North America, we appreciate you. If you've been here all day, you're a trooper. We appreciate you sticking it out with us as well. Thanks so much to Sony, PlayStation for your continued support here for the FGC. Thanks so much, Jeff, for joining me. Always a great time to have you on the show. And a final thank you to the hard-working production team making these shows possible, especially problem-solving like the tech issues that we had earlier, the MVPs as always. My name is Ketchup, joined by Wonder Chef. This has been the PlayStation Tournament's MK11 Open Series. See you next month for Mortal Kombat 11. Peace out.
イステーション